Do do do, theme song. Do do do, I'm broke so this is my theme song. Do do do, just imagine this is an awesome theme song. Do do, theme song. Left of the box. Now. Hello, welcome to Left of the Box. Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sandy, and that is
Tamoor from the 5.
fans of the Majority Report might recognize the name. You're a regular IMer and chatter with the Majority Report as well.
Yeah, not so much lately, but yes.
Yeah. Well, that's how we kind of connected, was we both called into the Majority Report about a day apart to talk about Sarah Jama, who is up for re-election right now. And they actually merged both our phone calls into a clip.
Yes, that
And
was
then
quite
I
quite
thought,
incredible.
yeah, and then I thought, well, why don't we actually have a conversation? Because we seem to be kind of like-minded, so. And I like bringing people on. So, everyone, just looking at the sandbox, thank you so much to BCat, Looney Tunes 9000, Jet 56, Nick Rich, and yeah, I think that's all in the sandbox right now. I imagine more people are going to trickle in the closer we actually get to the 9 o'clock deadline. But as always, people in the sandbox who are my producers, let me know. Audio, visual, everything is okay. Well, BCat says that I look very lovely today. I actually put this on a lot earlier today for a different event that I was on, and I didn't feel like taking it all off and redoing my face. So I probably look a little bit fancier than I intended to tonight. Oh, my buds is
Yeah,
also
I
here.
I I skipped the scruffy look.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you pull it off, so.
I was I don't normally let my beard go. I don't know why in the last 3 months I've decided, what the hell.
And I also just want to warn people in the sandbox, if you're hearing clicking and stuff, I'm fidgeting like crazy. I'm nervous about this. I'm so nervous about this. I tried my best. I made a couple videos about Doug Ford. They didn't get much traction. I did my final plea, my live stream from last night, and I stayed up extra late just so that I could post them on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the little short that I kind of did. The TikTok one actually got over 200 views, which is extraordinarily high on TikTok for me. So, Jet tried to repost mine, but doesn't know how to repost on Blue Sky. Yeah, social media is a big pain in the butt. So,
Yeah, I just posted on Blue Sky. I couldn't attach a caption though, so I've just posted a link and then another post saying, "Tune in."
yep, I've reposted and stuff. But we have a couple of articles and stuff that we can go over before we get started. So again, everyone, you know me in this setup. It's a bit of a mess. So just bear with me as I try to step through this in the proper order so you're not seeing all of how this sausage is made. So I go here first. And you guys on camera see a nice little cat. And then I do this over here where you guys aren't seeing it because you're seeing a cat on screen instead. And then I do this, and then I do this, and then I wanted to share this. So I'll share this tab instead. And then I still need to, oh right, I still need to do this. And then I do this again. And then I remove the kitty cat, and you guys see a news article. Yay, I did it in the right order. So I just saw this article like right before I came online, and well, this is something I have been talking about and something that concerns me. So Ontario voters with disabilities face barriers in winter election, advocates say. Yeah, I say that too. I've been seeing that a lot. As Ontarians head to the polls in a rare winter election, disability advocates say additional barriers created by snow and icy conditions could have been avoided and are calling on the province to make voting more accessible. Back-to-back snowstorms hit many parts of the province this month, and some cities are still working to clear the snow and ice accumulated on the streets and sidewalks. David Lepofsky, Chair of Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act Alliance, said calling a snap election during the winter created an accessibility issue for voters with disabilities. Just one mountain of snow piled up in the way can be insurmountable barrier for people like me who are blind, said what was his first name? David. It could have been completely avoided, which would be completely foreseeable by anyone calling an election in February. Yeah, I'm just this snap election in general. The short notice, not enough time for people to prepare. The fact that we've had multiple snowstorms this year, so people aren't seeing signs. Like, there was literally somebody on Blue Sky this morning that I saw that thanked me for reminding them the election is today. Because I think we're running into the problem where a lot of people know the election is happening, but they don't know it's specifically today.
Yeah, I mean, how many? There are always going to be a handful of undecided voters who are like completely unplugged in. Incidentally, on the disability thing, this is funny because my dad actually called into Ontario Today
Mm-hmm.
on CBC Radio today to talk about this very thing because he has mobility issues, so he was unable to get out and vote. We did go advance polling on Saturday, but he was not feeling great on the weekend, so he didn't really want to leave. And then he found out afterward because we have a neighbor who got someone because we have neighbors who are also like very elderly, but they managed to get someone because they know how this stuff works. They were able to get someone to come to their house to get their vote, but excuse me, my dad didn't know about that until just a couple of days ago. So he was frantically calling various
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, uh, the resources they have available. Kept calling them, say, "Can you come to my house?" And couldn't get through to any of them, or couldn't get the right person. It seems they always every person he got to, they said, "Oh, you need to call this number," and then the next person was like, "You need to call this number," and the next person,
Mm-hmm.
and so he called into Ontario Today and said, like, "Why is this not easier?"
Yeah, it should be easier. And one of the things, like, I got a phone call from the Riding Association or from Marit Stiles saying, oh, yeah, voting day is this day and blah, blah, blah. But they really need to be more clear. If you have disabilities, this is what you can do. These are your options. When they were doing the debates, they definitely needed to mention it then. Oh, Tamoor disappeared. So hopefully he'll come back in just a moment. But yeah, as I was saying, they should have really mentioned how people with disabilities can vote during the debates when a lot of people were watching. And he is coming back. Oh
Sorry about
no.
that.
Maybe
Sorry, we hit
sorry.
the wrong button.
There. Sorry, I had to when I did that, I lost the screen. I gotta remember that. There we go. There. Now we're back to where we were. Um Yeah, like really during the debates is when they should have mentioned alternatives on how to get votes in and things of that sort, because that's not promoted enough. The news stations need to be more clear about it, because all they really say on the news is advanced polls are open, or that this is the poll, like this is the election day. But I don't hear the news stations saying too often that you can go to the electoral office at any time that it's open and vote when the electoral office is open. I mean, at a certain point after they've set up the office and it's open, whenever it's open at that point, then you can go and vote, which for a lot of people with disabilities, that might be more accessible because it's usually in another building that might have better care for sidewalks and things of that sort. And like if they need to take a bus to it, you can spend more time as opposed to like trying to rush around in just today to go there. But there should have been more in the way, because apparently since it was a snap election, there were fewer days of advance voting as well. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of people who probably want to vote weren't able to because they didn't know about mail-in voting. There's not enough education on this because it is actually easy to vote in this province if you know how, if you know who to call, if you know about the mail-in ballots and all that sort of stuff. But they do try to make it accessible, but they don't communicate how it is. So
Mm.
that's where it can be problematic. I'm just going to glance through this article a little bit more, see if there's anything else, but I think I don't need to read much more into it because viewers of my channel know how exactly how I feel about this subject.
Mhm.
Just talking about more winter. Appears the Elections Ontario spokesperson says the agency hasn't yet found online voting technology that will protect the integrity of the voting system on a scale we need to. That would be nice if we could just like vote on our phone or something. If we are truly dedicated to democracy and we want to ensure that everybody has the opportunity, not just the right, to vote, then we have to make sure that we are calling an election in a way that is fully accessible to everyone, she said. And let's take a peek at the last election in 2022. So that's when we had Andrea Horwath running as the leader of the NDP. That was like her 4th time running.
Wow,
Like,
that many.
NDP do not know when to give up a leader. Because it'd be one thing if they ran twice and the second time you could see gains, like real gains in the seats and stuff. So there's like a good chance that the next time you have that momentum that you can win. But come on. Like if you if you couldn't win against Ford in the first place, you're probably not the right leader.
Yeah.
Because Ford was a horrible candidate. He knows how to play the political game, no doubt about it. And I know that the Liberal Party did them dirty right at the end,
Mm.
but it shouldn't have been that close in the first place. So as we see, so turnout, should have what the turnout was on here. Oh, turnout 44%. So 58%, 44%. The poll I've been seeing was 57% of people stayed home. So 56, 57, about there. I'm worried we're going to get under 40% turnout this time.
I mean,
And
I sincerely hope you're wrong about that.
yeah, that's my worry. As I say, I'm not trying to do predictions. I just worry. And he won with just 18% of the popular vote of the possible votes, but he won, let's see, 40% of the people who voted compared to Andrea Horwath at 23%.
But a very disproportionate number of seats.
Uh-huh. And then Steve Del Duca, who you cannot convince me that is not a Sith Lord name. There's just something about Del Duca that is like, okay, well, you're on Star Wars, right? Who was
Yeah.
also, I've covered on my channel, was holding an auction for land, Palestinian land, in a Jewish synagogue. That guy was doing the
Yeah.
auction.
I had forgotten about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
riddance.
Apparently, somebody who watched my channel said that they called because they lived in that city. They called their ward counselors to be like, "What the hell is wrong with you guys?" Some of the ward counselors were not that happy either. But here we can see a little bit more of a breakdown from 2018 to 2022. So it looks like there was a drop in seats. 76 in 2018, 67 in 2022. I'm trying to see like where was the change? Because the Liberals went down a couple.
The
And
fringe parties.
yeah, the fringe parties, the independents here. Well, that would also include people like Sarah Jama, who got kicked out of the NDP.
Yeah, this time around. And
Yeah.
hopefully she will get reelected.
Yeah. I'm
I mean, it's going
thinking,
to be one of those things. I mean, that's one of those races that I would pay, that someone like me would pay a lot more attention to, primarily because it proves that element of you do occasionally get the vote the person, not the party kind of voters. Because this is
Mhm.
what we saw in this is where I get the modicum of hope from. We saw this in Britain last year. The Just because they kicked Jeremy Corbyn out, it didn't stop him from winning yet again as an independent. And then there were those other four people that got elected for the very first time as independents, one against Labour incumbents uh, on a predominantly pro Gaza uh, platform, and they prevailed. And then also the Greens, they went from one MP to four. So um, I mean, I guess more party than independent or anything, but not the standard. So I know they probably don't compare in any way, but that's something that someone like me, I take a certain positivity from that and hope
Mhm.
that we have people like that here, and certainly the people in Hamilton. I hope they get put Sarah back into the house because
Yeah.
the
Like,
house without her would be devastating.
oops. Like I don't know why like the NDP is so afraid to be like boldly more progressive. Because if we look at like Claudia Scheinbaum, her popularity is 80% right now on a boldly
Yes.
progressive platform. Sarah Jama, who's running as an independent, I have a good feeling she's going to be reelected because the people in her riding really liked her. Like even Matthew Green of the federal NDP was campaigning with her as
Well, of
opposed to
course.
like the actual uh, NDP MPP candidate.
Well, they share ideologies, so
Yeah.
that's the key reason.
So obviously, it's like these things are popular. I don't know why they're so afraid to embrace it, to just be boldly progressive.
I mean, it's just it's amazing. You, you look at how the Overton window has shifted the state of politics. It's truly a universal problem. Like
Hmm.
this doesn't matter which country you're in, the big parties will always go in that direction.
Yeah. Well, we still got a bit of time, so I will put the cover back on there and I'll go back to the two people shot. That is not looking good on that screen. Let's do that. There we go. I gotta figure out the sausage on this a bit more. It's a very complicated layout that I have, but if anybody wants to pay for a StreamYard service for me, that would be great. But let's check into the sandbox because I see that there's a lot of people joining us. I'm hoping that I'm actually going to get more than normal viewers because I have like live election results on my tab. So it might actually pull in people on YouTube who don't normally watch my channel. So if you're one of those people, thank you for tuning in. I'm Sandy from Left of the Box, Canadian politics with sarcasm and sass. And if the name Left of the Box doesn't give it away, I'm on the left of the political spectrum. Think
Liar.
outside the box, but to the left. And I'm probably very, very to the left of the box. Uh, but
Some ways not to.
I also live with disabilities and I'm non-binary, queer. So I bring that perspective to my analysis because I feel one of the biggest um, like the biggest lack of representation that we have on leftist media is people with disabilities who aren't afraid to talk about them. Because when you have disabilities to begin with, it's a lot harder because you usually do live with poverty, like I do, which is why this election is just racking me with anxiety. Because if we get any other party in than the conservatives, I'm actually going to have enough money that I'm not stressing every day. Uh, but there's a lot fewer people in the leftist space who have disabilities who are currently living with poverty that are able to maintain this. You have people that come and go, but to be able to maintain doing this, I've been at this for 4 years now. It's difficult just given the lack of resources I have, But, I've had very generous people help out. I have the Amazon wish list, which is linked in the description box below, where people have bought equipment for my studio, which has really helped. Um, but yeah, it's important to have these voices out there because I bring a perspective I find a lot of people do tend to miss in their analysis when it comes to certain things. Because I also follow different stories than a lot of other leftists would normally follow, or I know things that they don't know because I'm invested in a story in a different way. And it's not that they're wrong or they're doing it wrong or there's anything bad with what they're doing. It's important that we have a diversity of perspectives when covering leftists or, politics in general, because no one person is capable of covering everything. No one. So let's see. We have John Davis is also in The Wild West. Mark Joycey. Super Strike 9 says, I voted this morning. Took like 2 minutes. Not sure if that means anything. I'm sure it got busier as the day went on. In normal election seasons, even ones where there's been regular turnout type thing, whatever you would call regular turnout, it's always been very quick for me. So I don't think that means anything necessarily. Like the busy times would be like after work. When people get off work, they would go vote. Oh, right. And I just remembered it's Super Strikes 9's birthday today. Make the damn wish.
Woo!
All right. Happy birthday. Make the wish.
It's 11 days before my birthday.
Ah, well, get that cake early and make the wish.
35 years young.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to Super Strike 9 and happy birthday to Tamoor from the 5.
Yeah, Super Strike. Enjoy your day.
Yeah. You should IM the majority report on your birthday to get a shofar.
Yeah, the thing is, Sam, I don't know what it is. Sam doesn't often read my IMs. It's
It,
mostly Emma that does.
it's not just you. It's not just
Yeah,
you. I've had that situation a lot
that's not a
too.
shot on Sam, by the way. I just want to
Yeah,
be clear.
yeah.
That's not a shot at Sam Cedar.
No,
It's just a fact.
it's extremely difficult to get through these days because it's one of those good problems, I guess, because
Yeah.
they've just become so much more popular. So many more people are trying to get through all the time, so they're just inundated. And I get the feeling there's probably less inundation when it's just, unfortunately, when it's Emma. I don't think it's the same viewers per se as when Sam's there. So, because I find I'm able to get through on the phone easier when I call in on a Thursday as well. Oops. Let's see. How is everyone else doing in the sandbox? Well, here, happy birthday. I have these ready just in case. Do, 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 do. Of course, you can't see them. They're little celebratory things on the screen. Yeah. That's like my heart will be broken if I can't use those later on. I don't know. I'm so nervous about this because I want to hope, you know. I want to hope, but it hurts so much to hope and have it defeated all the time. And there's just so
Yeah.
much riding on this election. And I want to believe that people are better than voting in Doug Ford, but at the same time, I know I'm just taking it personally because the reality is, like objectively, most people don't know the situation, people living with disabilities. Most people don't know the problems, the issues around it. They don't know what the rates are. It's not on the front of their minds. So it's not like they're purposely ignoring us. They just don't know that this issue exists. Because I do believe if more people knew, more people would, you would see them caring more. But at the same time, it's still hard to not take it personally because, as I said in my last stream last night, I'll scrape by, between my channel and some generous friends that I have, I'll scrape by. But I know people who, I'm very worried about their outcomes. if we don't get like a significant raise in our rates for disability. Uh,
Hmm.
so Rega Lista says, I'm also worried about this, probably talking about the low turnout. And for people who are maybe new to my channel, I don't have the graphic in here. I have it during my solo live streams. I have an actual graphic I can point to that says that I'm horrible at names. It's like I'm so horrible at names. Yesterday, I had to ask the Sandbox how to spell the name of a character in my book. This book down here. Because I can still change it. I'm making it into a paperback soon. Um, but I have a character in it, and I'm like, I realize that before I print it, I want to make sure I'm spelling the name right. But then there's like 5 different potential spellings of the name. Like, I don't know which one to go with now. Because the name is Brody, not Brody, Brody.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Letter Hack sent me, because people said to bug the Letter Hack, he sent me something that went with Broddy as it being short for Broderick. I didn't even know it was short for Broadwick. It's just the characters, they pick their names. I don't pick their names. That's how writing works. Hello, Dominique Bannister. Halifax sucks when it comes to people with disabilities. That's across the board. That's across the country, unfortunately. And just like even on a federal level, the way Justin Trudeau acts towards people with disabilities is gross. The fact that CERB was available to people, that is far more than anyone on disability sees. And, the idea was, oh, this is the bare minimum needed for people to get by is the 2,000 a month. And it's like, yeah, you don't say. As we get less, far less than that. Um, let's see. Oh, hello. Oh my God, you told me how to pronounce your name, Cyan Doodles. I don't know if I just said that right or not. Welcome. And PB Mudbuds, a German friend, says that young are moving away from the right wing, though. So that's you're talking to each other. It's great that you're talking to each other. uh, but Tamoor, since we have time, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? Um, how you got kind of like a little bit more politically engaged, and you might not think about yourself as politically engaged, but if you call into the Majority Report to talk about an issue, that means you're probably a lot more politically engaged than the other average person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I don't. There's not a lot to know about me other than that yeah, I don't really do a lot. I do tend to follow a lot of politics. I I would say it's quite interesting because I first started following like UK stand up and panel show comedy around 2011, and that was completely by accident. I have to say, I'd watched sitcoms before, but I hadn't watched like actual stand ups doing stuff. And listening to that stuff on radio, both TV and radio, that sort of made me more politically interested. I'm not saying I was completely apathetic before, but I was certainly not really clued in. Didn't didn't really understand the nuances, all that kind of stuff. And so that was yeah, that was 20 at a time. And since my that was yeah 2010s, a lot of that stuff still do it. But now in 2020s, I've started following a lot more actual political commentary. Again, it's the social media algorithms. They found me through
Mm.
one way or another. I can't remember. I think the damage report might have been the first one. Um, and then just a bunch of other stuff came up. Majority report was one. Kyle Klinsky, TYT, the main show, and I could get into that too much. But yeah, I would say. I mean, I was probably all what I would identify as like for the most part always on the left, but I I don't know. I don't say in hindsight that I could be interpreted as a shit lib, but I think I don't know. I mean, if I was as clued in as I am now, I would have been way more pro Corbyn than that, like what I
Mhm.
am now, and certainly knowing a lot more than I do about how things go. I like to think I've caught up with the rest of the world in that regard. So,
Mhm.
I mean, better late than never, they say. And so, yeah, I can't remember. I must have been the majority report that I found out about you. I heard some of your, I think, particularly during the 2022 election. So that was it. And so I've been for like what 3 years now. I guess I've been a fan of yours and uh, love your content. And it's an honor for me to have shared this platform with you on 2 occasions now. So cannot thank you enough
Wow.
for that.
You say it's your birthday next week, but I feel like it's my birthday now. That's very kind of you to say. Yeah.
I'm also I should also say I am in terms of identity I'm autistic and I get tremendous social anxiety. So I don't really have a lot as far as friends are concerned. So
Mhm.
these few opportunities of being online, these are kind of the only interactions I get with. And like I say, I'm completely cut off from the rest of the world, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
bad.
Well, I live in a very tech savvy area, which means there's a lot of autistic people in this area. A couple universities and stuff. So I do have some friends. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough to have some friends in my life, and we're all on the spectrum. Like we're just all on the spectrum. Um, but
Yeah, I'm out here in the east in Mississauga in the 905. Get it? Get
mm-hmm,
it?
mm-hmm,
Five.
yeah, Tamoor from the five. Yeah.
Yeah, but which I do not want people to then mistake that means that I am a fan of Drake. That was something I got off my own bat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also autistic, ADHD, OCD, which again, part of the reason why you don't see a lot of representation from people like us online is it's extremely difficult to do all of this while having all of those conditions. Because luckily, I think a lot of my autistic traits are compatible with this. That's all. Because I also do have social anxiety and stuff, but this doesn't feel well, it's not so much that I have social anxiety. I can be an introvert, extrovert. They have those silly little tests that you do in high school and stuff like that. And when it came to figuring out where I was here. Like I was literally on the very opposite ends. So I didn't have a middle point because apparently one of my points was a zero. So I was like both extremely introverted and extremely outroverted. So I
Mm,
can be outroverted, but then I need my own space. Like I need to be able to come home where it's just me and my cats. Like I can't live with other people. And that's the other, struggles about living with poverty and stuff like that is a lot of people have to take on roommates in order to afford, everything. I cannot live with other people. It's a hard no. I can't. Um, but yeah, it does become a struggle to do this, but then you get into the routine and then you get in, you find some ADHD things so you can hyper focus on stuff. And I do like editing. So that helps. Uh, PB says the more comfortable you become with your voice, Tamor, the more you will be able to share yourself with us. There are a lot of haters, ignore them.
much appreciated.
Mhm. And Super Strikes 9 says, I'm just your boring cis white straight dude, recovering addict, alcohol. I don't think you're boring. If you're in my sandbox, you're not boring. And also,
Congrats on
there's,
your sobriety.
yeah, yeah, it's good for your sobriety. And there's always room at the table. Like, I know there's a lot of people saying, like, oh, cis white men, they don't belong. No, there's always room at the table for everyone. So, yeah. I think, yeah, I'm super nervous and I've been having anxiety attacks this week waiting for this because it's
Oh
just,
yeah.
I'm hoping not to get too emotional. I'm hoping to have delayed emotional reactions tonight so that it doesn't sink in whatever the results is because it doesn't matter what the results are. If Doug Ford is voted out, the amount of relief I will feel is just like, it doesn't mean we've won though, because I
Yeah.
know all the parties have pledged to double ODSP rates. The proof is when they actually do it though. And or if Doug
Yeah.
Ford gets reelected again with even a larger majority, then it's just my devastation that I would feel. So it's, it is, I'm going to be emotional no matter what. And
Yeah.
it's like, I feel weird because we're doing this big lead in, like an hour lead into the election. The results are probably going to be in like under 10 minutes. Like, I know with
Yeah. I think
BC,
I think possibly under 5 minutes.
yeah, like with BC, it took a long time because there were some super close ridings and they were super close. Like the two leading parties were super close. But then when I was covering New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, the results came in rather quickly. Like with, I think it was Nova Scotia, like I just blinked and they were in. So it will be then, okay, so especially if the Conservatives have a strong lead, then the results will be in almost instantaneously. And so then it's just a matter of seeing like if some of the politicians we like won their seats again. Looney Tunes 9000 says that if Doug Ford is reelected again, Canada is fucked. Oh yeah.
I mean, I would want to hope that with all the scandals and all this stuff that happened in the last 3 years or so, like, I mean, here, look at this. I'm wearing my this is my good luck charm for. I'm wearing my Science Center shirt. I was This is a true story. I went to the Science Center the week before it had to be permanently shut down. I've been to Science Center a bunch of times when I was a kid, even as an early adult. I loved going there. When I went there, this was in April, I guess. It was still great, but it was different. You could tell. I mean,
Mm.
it doesn't help when the IMAX isn't on. That's the first step. And then you had to go to like some of it was in the main building, a lot of it you had to go to in like another building, and it was like shuttles to that. And I mean, we went late enough we weren't able to see everything, so that was a bit of a disappointment. But we saw some good things, and there were still like shows going on and whatnot. So it was good, but it was a husk, All with all due respect from my own memory, it was a husk.
Mhm.
But it was great to be there, and then a week later to happen, and it was oh man, that hit me right here,
Yeah.
And then the whole thing about the Ontario place and the 413 and the building project on the green belt. I mean that's when
Oh,
you're trying to build on like
yeah.
publicly owned land and whatnot, that you'd think that would be game over. And the idea that you might have all this, and now he wants to build this special tunnel. I mean, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Everyone wants to get stuck in a traffic jam underground.
Yeah. But I will. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that what was that thing? Smart Link, I think. Was that the Elon Musk project that Doug
Starlink.
Ford said? Starlink, sorry.
Yeah.
That Doug said I'm gonna cancel that. Um, Whenever that was, early
Mhm.
when in the Trump term,
Yeah.
and then like what was it? 2 weeks later,
No,
there's
it was
like
the
secret.
same day.
Oh, it was on the day. Oh, I
It was
see.
the
Okay,
same day.
okay.
Oh,
But then we found out. behind closed doors, he's gonna get it back.
Yeah.
He wants to get it back. So,
Mhm.
you know, you gotta
Yeah.
love the political theater, yeah?
It's yeah. It's like I feel like if people knew what Doug Ford was really about, there's no chance in hell he'd win. But again, so many people are not plugged in, but we don't see what the average person sees because we're online, we're paying attention. But like to the average person who doesn't really watch the news and stuff and maybe only tunes in every now and then and they hear some campy speak from him, they don't know a lot of this. That's why I was hoping my Doug Ford video would do a lot better than it did, and it didn't. Because I really feel like if people actually knew everything he was up to, it would change their minds. Because, like, for me, I know when Ontario plays what he did to that hit me. Because when I was younger, there used to be this thing called the Symphony of Fire. And it
Mhm.
was a yearly event where it was an international fireworks show in the summer. And my mom and a couple friends of mine and stuff, we would go. And my mom loves to read books, so we would get there very first thing in the morning. She'd put down a blanket and just read on the beachfront and claim our spot there the entire day while we went and wandered around the park. And then at night we would see the fireworks and stuff. And I remember even taking pictures of it with film camera. Um, and it was always a really amazing show. That's where my slinky collection started because they had a gift shop there and they had like a star-shaped slinky and I thought, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. And then the next year they had a moon-shaped slinky, so I'm like, well, I have to get this one to go with the other one. And then one time, because once the fireworks show was over, trying to get out of there was a nightmare with the traffic and stuff. So what they would do is they would show a movie on the Cinesphere for people who didn't want to necessarily just be stuck in traffic trying to get out of the parking lot. So I ended up watching Titanic in the Cinesphere. And for people who don't know the Cinesphere, that was what the big ball was in Ontario Place. It was a movie screen that was 3 stories tall. And so I got to watch Titanic on a movie screen that was 3 stories tall.
Ooh.
hmm So, like I remember as a kid, school trips there and everything. And, it's a shame that we've lost these things. And to be replaced with what? A spa? Like, that's not a family destination. That's not where, kids on school trips are going to be going. Like, what? But we're getting closer to, and my anxiety is, so let's switch back to the news share. Let's see if I do this right this time. Click there. You guys are seeing the kitty cat. And then I have to do this over here that you guys aren't really seeing. And then I have to do this and this. And then I click away from the kitty cat. Here we go. Boom, and you guys are seeing the YouTube. Oh, like I'm worried that if I don't have this up right now, we're going to miss the announcement because it's going to happen that fast. But it's like I've been politically engaged now for a while. I've been part of there's the health coalition in this area. So I've been to several protests up at Queen's Park about healthcare. Healthcare is something that's one of the biggest things on my channel is trying to make people more aware of what's happening to our healthcare in this country and in this province in particular. And they would also have weekly protests outside the offices of the MPPs who were conservative in the area. So they would rotate and I would partake in that. And I had the best sign because at one point, Doug Ford decided to no longer have OHIP cover sedation for colonoscopies. And so I made a sign that said, you can take your health care cuts and shove them where there's no coverage. I still have that sign. I've made the words in marker. Oh, no, I said You can take your health care cuts and shove them where there's no sedation. Because yeah.
Another sign of how inhibited I am. I did want to make a sign and put it up because my neighborhood, I know broadly speaking who votes how, but certainly the ones who vote for the blue guys, they always had the signs up.
Mhm.
And I've always wanted to just put a protest sign up in front, but I know my parents would never approve of that. But I always just was I want to put something out. Particularly wanted to put something. I don't know. I don't know. I always see those signs for like, um, pay the teachers or don't
Mhm.
build a 413. And I was like, how do I get those? And I feel like it's easy
Um,
enough. I don't know.
well,
I did want to put some.
I know where to get some of those signs because I volunteer with different groups, and sometimes they'll say, "Okay, we have these signs available that people, they're usually like $15 or something, and you can get one." Um,
I did want to make something. I don't know, Ford Trump related,
mhm.
but I don't know.
Going to check the sandbox as I think all of our nerves are jittery right now. Uh, Cyan Doodle says that hurt my heart. I had so many memories from there. I think talking about the Science Center or Ontario Place as well.
Yeah, I used to go to Ontario Place a lot as well, growing
Mhm.
up in the 90s. I can't say I remember. I can't say too many memories of that, but it was, so it's a fun place.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do a good job in upkeeping it, but that was, intentional.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this screen right now. We switch
Yeah.
screens.
Do you
Uh,
follow smartvoting.ca?
smartvoting.ca, yeah. That one.
I just found out about them.
Yeah. I've been sharing this website like crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
yeah. BCAT, we've got a coup going on, and Mega still believes Trump gives a single F about them. Yeah. I
Mm.
just, like, it's very funny to me, funny in a really horrifying way. There's so many Canadians that are like, "Oh, look at the Americans. They're voting for Trump. Like, you got what you deserve." And meanwhile, they're turning around and voting for Ford. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Uh, Canadian Socialist says Doug Ford gets credit for wearing a hat that says Canada is not for sale, apparently. And the taxpayer rebate boosted him. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Remember 2018? I'm pretty sure it was as early as that. Wasn't he also wearing, was it a hat or maybe just he had a sign saying open for business? So,
Well, yeah, he spent over $100,000 on making 25 signs on the side of the road that say "Open for
yeah.
business." He, but you know,
And I can still see in my mind, I can still remember going. I mean, thank God I can't see them anymore, but I still remember going to freaking, like, there was a span of time going to anytime I went to Petro Canada, seeing those goddamn anti-carbon tax decals he had
he
put
was
on every.
forcing gas stations to put up,
Yeah.
and that turned out to be a big no-no because he was forcing gas stations to promote his political agenda, which you can't do. But
Yeah.
like personally too, like I was super upset with the new license plates because I'm like, if I had to get a new license plate, I'm like, I don't want his branding. Like there was just something about that I found like I was really indignant with. Like this idea now that I was forced to have a license plate that had his logo on it and it was blue and also you couldn't see them in the dark.
Yeah, that's the thing that stands out more than anything. That you can use those at night.
And I thought people were exaggerating, but then I saw some of them at night, and it's just the way that the street
Oh,
lights go on it. Totally could not see
yeah,
anything on the license plate.
totally.
Let's see. Uh, we got other people. I think. Oh, I think a lot of people are getting nervous too. Cyan Doodles is Ford still connected to Starlink? He was yesterday, I believe. Yes, as far as I know, he's still that deal is going through. Canadian Socialists, I pray the NDP form official opposition at least. They could do a better job, though. Well, they are currently the official opposition. It'd be nice if there was like a minority government situation and they were the official opposition. But Bonnie Crumby is now doing the whole, oh, we're going for second place, so don't vote for the NDP, vote for us. Like the attitude and stuff in her is just absolutely horrendous. I hate it when they do that. Like the Liberal Party is such a snake party. Like they are willing to throw the NDP and the people of this province under the bus for their own gains. And also, now
Yeah.
that I've seen it, I can't unseen it, but there was somebody that, like, Bonnie Crumby was reminding me of somebody, and I was like, who is it? Who is it? Anyone who watches Deep Space Nine, Kai Wynn. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. There's just something about the
I,
way she talks.
I
It's like the way she talks and everything. And like the tightness in her face of like there's this venom of like I'm going to kill you, but I'm saying all these pleasant things. Oh.
I don't. I don't know. I haven't noticed that. I may have to go back and revisit some of those
Yeah.
speeches because I mean, you're probably right, but
Yeah, no,
mhm.
there's something in it like this whole double speak backstabby stuff where she's saying one thing where you know she's not meaning it, and there's just something about her vibe and attitude that's like, oh my god, this is Kai Wen. Uh, but yeah, it's just, yeah. Anti-Case Tarot, welcome to the sandbox. It annoys me strategic voting is liberal when NDP have been current opposition. Yeah, that's like they're still saying, oh, vote strategically, vote for the Liberal Party, but they'll be doing that in a riding where the NDP has the lead. And so far, I know of two Green candidates to step aside and endorse. One endorsed a Liberal, one endorsed a NDP candidate, and an NDP candidate also stepped aside to endorse the Liberal candidate. But none of the Liberal candidates are stepping aside to endorse the party that has the best chance of winning. Like, we cannot rely on the party infrastructure themselves to do the right thing. It has to be on like some brave individuals in those parties who will never be able to run for those parties again by doing that. And it's on
Yeah.
people going to smartvoting.ca and see what your options are, trying to rally people that way. Okay, we're down to the final five. So do we want to keep it on the stat? Well, I guess we should probably switch over to the YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, I am not looking forward to this. Oh. The Wild West, Ontario, please come to your senses. Yeah. A Canadian social list. I was a nurse when Ontario Liberals were in power. It was bad then. It's worse now. I can't support the Liberals. Yeah, I know. A lot of the reason why Doug Ford is so bad right now is like why he was able to get away with so much was because of the attrition and everything that the Liberal Party did. Because like I have a story that I've told, I'm not going to tell right now, about my grandmother in a long-term care home and how, how horrible it was in her last few weeks of life. That was when the Liberals were in power. They were doing that. They were making it so there was no hospice room and things of that sort. So the Liberals did a very good job of undermining the system as is and starting with a lot of the attrition and the cuts and things. And then, they stripped it down to just the frame. So all Doug Ford had to do is come over and go, boop. Oh. Let's see. Nadia V, welcome to the sandbox. Oof, not a face we've seen in a minute. I'm not entirely sure who you're talking about.
maybe me. I think
Hmm.
I've been messaging a lot of people trying to get some increased viewership here.
Yeah. Well, let's see. How am I doing right now? I'm at 19. I was hoping I
Yeah,
would
hey
bring
Nadia.
more. It's just I'm also competing with Leftist Mafia right now. And they're probably going to announce it on Leftist Mafia too, because, David Dole is also in Ontario. So he'll probably announce it on Leftist Mafia if he's on the show tonight. And Lance is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
Canadian,
I hope he
so
does.
yeah.
I hope he does. I know it might be a predominantly American podcast talking about American politics, but I mean, Ontario's still significant, and as
Mm,
it is, as you say, very close to his heart. So
yeah, well, he's been doing a fair bit of Canadian coverage too. But yeah, his main focus
yeah.
is American politics. But, he can't avoid the federal and the provincial things that are going on right now either because they're just so in your face. I don't know. We got 2 minutes. Let's
Mm.
put on the sound.
We're going to move to Haldeman, Norfolk. Bobby Ann Brady, an incumbent.
Everyone in the sandbox,
She
let me
actually
know if
was
you can hear this
associated
okay.
with the former MPP, but the
Can you
party
hear
chose
it?
Amy Martin instead. That's going to be an interesting one. Could an independent actually win and retain a seat? So that's Haldeman, Norfolk in southwestern Ontario. Sarah Jama was kicked out of the NDP caucus a couple of years ago by Marit Stiles. Robin Lennox taking the NDP banner there. What's going to happen in Hamilton Centre? That will be interesting to follow as well. Also in the 905, Lena, of course, you were just talking to Sylvie Galtieri. She, of course, is Patrick Brown's mother-in-law, and she is taking on Bonnie Crombie, leader of the Liberal Party. Keep in mind, Doug Ford was campaigning in that riding just yesterday. Vince Caspera, Michelle Cooper, and Eglinton Lawrence. That could be an interesting riding to watch as well. We'll be watching this race very closely.
There's
Likely
no
to be
NDP
one
in
between the
that one. Is
PCs
that
and
the
the
one where
Liberals.
the NDP
And as we
stepped
take you
down?
over to our following riding in Etobicoke Lakeshore, we highlighted this one a little bit earlier. This was a very close race last time around. Lee Fairclough, back at it again, back in the running. She has stayed very politically active since the 2022 race. So could she try to take it out from
I feel
Hogarth? We'll
nauseous
find
too,
that out as well.
Cyan
And
Doodles.
Alexa Gilmore, not the
And
incumbent,
Looney
but this
Tune
is an
9000
NDP
is saying
seat
that
at
Lance
Parkdale
has
High
the
Park
numbers
as well.
up on
As the
the
results
Leftist
come in, we'll see
Mafia
if Alexa
screen.
Gilmore holds that orange banner for the New Democrats. Michelle, Lena, back to you.
Minutes to go before polls close. Nick, thanks so much for this. And our
Jet
coverage
says he
continues
just
right
realized that
after
Ontario
this.
looks like a drumstick. No, you're not talking, so I'm going to mute you because you're playing music instead. Oh, now we have somebody talking. Nope, still music. It looked like somebody was talking. I don't want to play too much music because you never know. You never know. But this is on YouTube, so one would think that it's okay. Why show people talking if you're not letting us hear what they're saying?
This is a CTV News special presentation.
It is 9 o'clock and polls are now closed across all of Ontario. The political landscape in this province is about to take shape. And we'll be with you all night to watch it unfold. This is CTV Ontario Election 2025.
We'll do whatever it takes to protect Ontario.
We
Bullshit.
fight for every single job.
No new taxes and no tax increases.
We think Ontario needs and deserves more green voices at Queen's Park.
I hope they do whatever they say they're going to be doing.
People are polarized.
I'm just concerned that Canadians get help when they need it.
Canada's been very bad to us on trade, but now Canada's going to have to start paying up.
We need a mandate from the people to fight against Donald Trump's tariffs.
The Ford government is wasting so much money.
There's no
Is your
updates
life more
on
affordable today than
the
it
other
was before
seats
Doug
yet.
Ford? And clearly the answer to that is no.
Doug Ford has quit his job, and Bonnie Crombie has quit the fight.
That's pretty true, actually. So we can watch it on YouTube with CTV, or we can go to the Global News webpage and watch it on Global News.
The Ontario legislature dissolved less than 1 month ago, kicking off a frigid February campaign. Tonight we'll find out if this unusual timing has paid off for the Progressive Conservatives
Probably.
and whether their political opponents can make any gains. And we are off from CTV News headquarters in Toronto and all across across Ontario. Party leaders have been battling each other as well as the bitter cold, all fighting for your vote. Good evening, I'm Michelle Dubé. And I'm Lena Latifat. Whether you're watching, listening, or streaming, this is the place to be.
I'm streaming.
Results, reaction, along with exclusive insights and data you won't find anywhere else. We have a full team here in studio.
Okay,
CTV's
stop the
chief political
count.
correspondent Vashi Kapelos is here alongside Sabrina Nanji, Bill
Stop
Carroll,
the
and
count.
John Moore. They're going to be following the key races and breaking down everything as the results come in. And those numbers are going to appear on the bottom of your screen. And if history is our guide, we can expect first results just moments from now. Yeah, could be very quick. We also have journalists at all the party headquarters and right across the province, tracking all the results as they
The
come
rural
in
areas
and
are the ones that are most likely going to be voting Conservative, and they probably take longer to get the results
so let's
in.
see
So
and set the
this is
stage
not-
for what's to come.
We're in the
Nick
first
Dixon is
3
at our
minutes.
power board helping us understand the results as
Just
they come in
stop the
tonight. Nick,
countdown.
there's a
Stop
lot
it
to
now.
watch for.
There is indeed. Here's the key number you're looking for. It's the race to 63. That is majority territory. That is what's required for majority government. If you win 63 seats, one of those parties, you are forming the next government as a majority government. Let's take a look right now at the seat projections coming in from the CTV decision desk here based on polling.
I'll just mute that for a second. Thank you, everyone, for being in the sandbox with me. I appreciate the moral support. Thank you, Tamoor, for coming on with me. I appreciate the moral support because I'd be like eating my foot right now if I was just watching this alone. But thank you also to the people outside of Ontario that are paying attention to this. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's
Between
a
the New
big
Democrats,
jump in the
14,
PC potential
34.
seats already.
This could tighten up as well. Will both parties maintain full party status? Very much looking like Doug Ford is on his way to a majority win potentially, although it could be a minimum, and then we could see what happens for the second and third place. Again, this is all what they're looking for, and as those votes come in, Michelle and Lena, this is the number to watch.
Well, looks like
we will be
the
watching,
Green
and now
Party's
that the
up one.
polls have closed, guess what? The results are starting to roll in. Let's take a look at the first results of this election night in Davenport. This is NDP leader Marit Stiles riding. She is expected to win her seat there tonight, and Paulo Pereira hoping
Okay,
to
if you
perhaps
have
turn
one
the
out of
riding
52
orange.
polls,
Nick Pavlog for
don't
the PC
bother
party.
showing
Yeah,
it.
it's a pretty
One
safe
out of
riding
81
for the NDP.
polls.
This is a
Come
pretty
on.
safe riding for the Greens. We're taking a look at Guelph now, where, no surprise, Mike Schreiner has the lead there. He has about 548 votes. Robert Cool in second place, but it's looking good for the Greens there. Eglinton Lawrence is one to watch. You'll notice no incumbent here. Michelle Cooper for the PCs, Vince Gasparo for the Liberals, Leah Tyso. It's still early. We got one of 76 polls reporting a slight lead for the PCs there. Don Valley North, former Toronto City Councillor Jonathan Sow has the lead here for the Liberals. Only one poll reporting, though, so early. Vincent Key, you may remember him. He's running as an independent. He was kicked out of the PC caucus for allegations of Chinese election interference. We'll keep a close eye on that. Toronto Centre, Kristen Wong-Tam, a former councillor, is the NDP incumbent. This is definitely an orange riding. We'll have to wait and see how things play out as more polls roll in. Okay, let's take a look at Willowdale. Bit of a political rematch here. The incumbent, PC's Stan Show, in second place right now. Paul Segale certainly looking for a comeback. He ran in this riding before. He does appear to have the lead. Over to Don Valley East, Adil Shamji vying for a second term. He is from the medical field.
We don't need to hear a lot of that. Just them talking about things. Canadian Socialist says Kitchener Centre is green. Nice. Yeah. Well, they were green. That was the incumbent. I actually had on the NDP candidate for that area. But, you know, my show is open for the green candidate to come on too. But the NDP candidate's team reached out to me, so of course I will interview any candidate for provincial or federal elections that reach out to me. Yep, that was quick.
So 6 minutes.
Decision Desk is already declaring a PC win. Doug Ford gets a third straight mandate. Let's go straight to PC Party headquarters. Our Siobhan Morris is standing by there. Siobhan.
Well, this certainly was an expected result in terms of a majority win. The question, of course, will be how big that majority will grow to. I spoke earlier with the campaign manager who said this was an unusual campaign, one that focused more on international affairs than provincial ones, something that we just don't see very often in Ontario. We saw political analyst Scott Reid talk about the likelihood of a monster majority here. We've seen seat projections close to 100. That would be unheard of in Ontario. Also very unusual to see a party in power this long and continue to, over a cycle of elections, grow their seat count. We are seeing just Doug Ford not be slowed down by any criticism, files that his critics think that he has mismanaged. So again, it looks like a third majority for Doug Ford.
All right, Siobhan Morris live at PC Party headquarters, where there's going to be a very big celebration there again. Following breaking news, CTV News is declaring a PC victory, and we're now looking at live images coming to us from Etobicoke. The Ford family watching these results very closely tonight.
Doug Ford keeping the keys to Queen's Park. He said he wanted another mandate. The question now is, will he get an even stronger mandate than the one he had in 2022?
Yeah, let's turn to our panel for reaction to this. Vashi, this is not a...
It's just... Yeah. I don't understand how someone like him can keep on winning. Like, even though I know it's like, okay, a lot of people aren't plugged in, everyone knows their quality of life is deteriorating. Everyone knows healthcare is more difficult to get. You know, that the cost of living has gone up, that rent is out of control, all of that. Everyone can feel that. And yet he's never held accountable.
Yeah, I don't get it. But some people, they only know to vote one way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was saying before, a lot of people, they will vote party over people, and it's I don't know. I mean, I can't say I can't say the Fords are in their own way a cult, but I don't know. I mean, there's a political, like, another, like, legacy family. They'll just keep getting appeal no matter what.
Let's see if we can find specific ridings. What riding is... Somebody's saying that Bonnie Crombie is losing her seat. Good. I don't know which riding she's in off the top of my head.
Mississauga, Cooksville. And frankly, you know what I will say is, whatever opinion that either of us has on Bonnie Crombie, I would say at the very least, if she would win her riding and make at least one of the 6 constituencies in my city red, because like the last 2 elections, it's all 6 have been blue, and it's just so uncomfortable. But it's also weird that they're all red federally, but they're all blue provincially.
Yeah,
I know you had a point the other day about how these two parties are just, on one level they're the same. Many levels are different, but on one level they're the same. So you don't see but it's just, I don't know. It's just strange and unpleasant, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's the only leader losing her seat right now. Let's see. How is Hamilton Center looking?
That's the big one, isn't it?
Where's a quick find? Nope. Oh, there we go. Hamilton Center. Oh no.
Yeah, I've just seen this.
Sarah Jama's way behind. Oh, you're not seeing this, sorry.
So far behind.
It'd be a shame to lose her. She's one of the few people to really speak for, people. People with disabilities, vulnerable people, Palestinians.
Yeah. Again, early counting, though.
But they know enough that Doug Ford's winning. It's so disheartening. Like, the quality of life of millions of people in this province could have been fixed if Doug Ford wasn't there. But nobody, like, where are the people who are really, like, I mentioned some of the protests and stuff that I've been to, but they should have been so much bigger. Like, this is our health care that he's stripping away. He wants to do that stupid tunnel. Like, how does that improve anyone's life? You know, what improves people's lives is being able to go to an ER, being able to have a family doctor. Having a stupid tunnel or a stupid spa, that doesn't exactly help. I can't tell those two apart.
Wow.
But, you know, Doug Ford knows how to play that political game. He knew that by calling it this month, doing a snap election, that it would give him the upper hand. You know, before, because I think a lot of people,
theater.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still haven't clued into how bad Donald Trump is and how much buddies that Doug Ford is with him type thing. And so not enough damage has been done. Like, really now the only way we can unseat him before the next election is if we do like massive protests to the point that we shut down everything. But I don't see people doing that, you know? I wish this was France. You know, they know how to protest in France. Like, we need to be doing that here. Like, my God, people are dying because of this monster, and people are just sitting by and letting it happen.
Yeah, we just there's not enough of that kind of media apparatus to activate, and not enough grassroots activism to get going. As much as we have things, but there's not enough of it. There's clearly not enough, and there's not enough outward messaging to and overall unity to really bandy together and get this message across.
That's why I'm really mad at these two in the middle. You know, Bonnie Crumby and Merritt Stiles. They have done such a piss poor job. Like, because if Merritt Stiles becomes the incumbent again, they'll keep her. And I'm just like, no, both of these leaders need to go because they're both horrible. They don't get the message out. They're not in a way to compete against Doug Ford. But it's just the fact that Doug Ford can say and do anything, kind of like Trump. Like, it doesn't matter what Trump says or does. Like, I'm surprised that those Epstein files were redacted, because even if his name is in it, I don't think that would do anything to him. Like, there's nothing that Doug Ford can say or do that seems like to have any effect. Like, he's under criminal investigation. He's responsible for so many scandals, for wasting hundreds of billions of dollars in this province now. Like, it doesn't matter. He can insult, you know, people on Ontario Works. He can be racist about immigrants. He can do all of this. He can be saying derogatory things towards women, you know, racist things towards Indigenous peoples. It doesn't matter. And he's still popular with people. Like, they still think he's a good guy. Canadian Socialist, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you for the work you both do. Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
What work have I done? That's the problem. We need more. We need more YouTube live streamers.
Apparently, hundreds of Canadians are falling ill at a Mexican resort south of Cancun, dropping like flies. What, are they all from Ontario and just saw the election?
I'm getting out of here. Speaking of getting out of here, I think I have to step out for a moment, but I promise I will be back.
Okay, so just for a moment.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I knew
Don't worry.
I knew
Don't
this would
leave,
happen.
everyone.
Yep. Here, I can. Yeah. So Tamoor will be coming back in just a moment. He warned me ahead of time that he would have to step away briefly around this time. So, oh, just going to check the sandbox. But yeah, this is like at least a minority government would have been preferable to this garbage. And then the thing that bugs me is people that will say outside of this province, like, ooh, you voted for this. No, we did not. We did not. And, you know, I'd be very interested to see. It's going to take a bit before we know what the turnout was like. Like that we probably won't know until tomorrow or the next day or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it's under 40%. So it's like, no, the people did not vote for Ford. They just didn't bother to vote against him. Canadian Socialists praying for more NDP to keep more seats. Disappointed Jill Andrews is losing? Oh no! I know Jill Andrews. Toronto. She's St. Paul's, I believe. She's really good. I feature her on my channel all the time. And I'm friends with somebody who's friends with her. Actually, let's just check this one. Okay, good. Isn't she... Oh, Toronto St. Paul's right here. Oh, no. That's disappointing. Sheldon Petrie saying, I wish I could be surprised with the results. It's like, the thing is like, no, I'm not surprised. I was kind of expecting this, but it still hurts. You know, it still hurts that there's so many people not engaged in politics, not engaged to their own lives, to what's happening, that they can see their lives around them falling apart and not bother to ask, why is this happening? Like, it still hurts that there's so many people unplugged when it comes to politics, that the political literacy in this country is just, it's shit. Because if people knew, like, I fully believe if people knew what Doug Ford was all about, they wouldn't be voting for him, but they're so fucking unplugged. Like, he went to one place and 10% of the community was protesting him when he went to campaign there because of the healthcare cuts. They lost their ER. So now people in that community can probably die because of him. But where's the outrage from people? You know, where's the news stories too? Like, where's the media saying, oh, these people died because of the ER closures, because of Doug Ford's policies? Like, they need to be spelling it out like that. Like, every time there's a closure, like an ER, to not just say that there was a closure, but say why it closed. Say it's because of Doug Ford's policies. But they don't do that because they're trying to be neutral. But the media really has to start getting on board with this because their loved ones are going to die too. But it's just, you know, again, it's the people with disabilities too, the people who are stuck on Ontario Works. Like, we had a chance of just not living in dire poverty, of not having to stress every month if there's going to be enough to cover the bills, of just, you know, feeling a little bit of normalcy, a little bit of stability, of being able to choose where you live because you can finally afford rent. Like, just having that freedom of being able to move if you want to maybe a safer community, or a community closer to friends and family, or one with a more work options for you and stuff. It's just, let's see. Nadia V, regardless of today's results, be proud all you did your civic duty and voted. At the very least, our democracy is still upheld. Never take that for granted. Cyan Doodle, Sandy, is it apathy, do you think, these results? A lot of it is, I think this particular election, it's a lot more complicated than just apathy. Yes, it's playing a big part. But as I was saying earlier, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who weren't aware it's actually happening today. They knew it was happening, but they didn't actually know it was today. And so they'll wake up tomorrow to find out that the results are in, and they'll be like, wait, but I didn't vote. There was a lot of barriers to people voting because of the snap election. People with disabilities, like the article I was showing earlier, people who don't know how to get their mail-in ballots in time and things of that sort. So I think there's a lot more, I don't want to say like intentional voter suppression, but there was voter suppression happening big time in this election, but not like in an illegal sense. More in a sense of there wasn't the facts out there, there wasn't the signs out there because of the winter storms, people weren't seeing it. So there's a complete lack of awareness of this election happening. Plus, this election wasn't supposed to happen for a year and a half. It was supposed to be summer of next year. So there's a lot of people that were just completely caught off guard. And since it was a snap election called in February, like at the beginning of February, there are people on vacation right now. Hence all those people dropping like flies in Mexico. A lot of people go on their winter vacations now. And if they didn't advance vote before they went or got a mail-in ballot or anything of that sort, they're SOL. So we're losing a large chunk of the population that way as well. So it's not, yeah, there is a lot of apathy, but it's not just that. And it is also, you know, a lot of blame goes towards these two right here, Marit Stiles and Bonnie Crombie. A lot of the blame goes towards them. They don't have to wait until an election to campaign, per se. Like, yes, official campaign stuff, but they could be doing more to get their names out there, to get attention, to bring attention to the issues. The media, like I said, could be doing more. So when there is a closure at the ER, say it's because of Doug Ford. And if the media won't do it, then these two should have been making a stink. Like, they should have been doing, you know, the big bold things that gets Doug Ford in the news. You know, because Doug Ford will say all these horrendous things, but it gets him attention. And then when they get attention, you know, some people, the worst people, like that's the thing. He gets the attention of the worst people. They go out and vote. Let's see. Cyan Doodles, too many days of not eating. It's so hard. I'm so sorry to hear that. Sheldon Petrie, voter disenfranchisement. And also I'm fortunate that I've never had to skip a meal or not know where the next one is coming from. I didn't think that would be a luxury in 2025 and long before. It shouldn't be a luxury in this country. Buying groceries shouldn't be a luxury. Being able to live in an apartment that is safe shouldn't be a luxury. Canadian Socialist, the turnout is trending bad, but not as bad as we thought. FG, same shit. Houston polled in Nova Scotia, called the election 9 months early during a postal strike, so voter cards didn't go out. That's another thing. A lot of people never got their voter cards, so they weren't sure where their polling stations were. And a lot of people didn't know that you can vote without a voting card. That all you need is your driver's license or photo ID. And you don't even need photo ID. You can have like your health card and then a piece of mail with your address on it and your name. And you could have still voted. Because I remember when I moved once, I had to do that so that they would know which riding I was in type thing. But yeah, this is a lot more complicated why the results are as horrible as they are. Because it was just, but it is Doug Ford knowing how to play the political game at the end of it. It's him knowing that this was the best time for him to do it when he was riding a little bit high because he was pushing back against Donald Trump on the tariffs. And he had that, stupid little hat of Ontario not for sale, but under him, it is definitely for sale. Yeah, it's... You see, I don't want to be watching the YouTube video right now because, quite honestly, I don't want to see Doug Ford happy and celebrating. Because he's doing that on the graves of people. On the graves of people he is responsible for socially murdering. He is celebrating on the graves of people he put in the ground. And to me, that is disgusting. And so I don't want to see him celebrating that. Oh no. Jill Andrew. I liked her. I featured her so much on my channel. But I know somebody who's friends with her too. That's so sad. Also, it shouldn't go without saying, racism is playing a much more bigger part this year in this. Absolutely, with all the talk about DEI, especially coming in from the States, a lot more racism is probably playing into the results right now. Let's see. So, which one was Bonnie Crumby again? Oh, this one showed me. Nope, she's still losing. But only 23 of the 64 polls are in. Oh, Merritt Stiles has been elected. Of course, Doug Ford has been elected. Green elected. Bonnie Crumby, the only one not elected. But again, my frustration here is that Bonnie Crumby, she's definitely going to be out after this performance. If she can't even win her own seat, then she's definitely going to be out as party leader. Although it looks like they're going to get party status back at least. But Merritt Stiles, she has to be out too. Like, if you can't make gains against Doug Ford with the way things are right now, she doesn't deserve to lead the party. She's a detriment to that party at this point. Like, nobody who can't be Doug Ford right now deserves to be a leader, other than the Green. Other than Mike Schreiner. He's still cool. But when it comes to, like, the NDP and the Liberals, with the backing that they have, the bases that they have, the volunteer bases they have, there's no excuse. There's none, really. Because, again, it's not just about waiting until the election is on before you start really getting your name out there and campaigning. They should have been doing this long before now. And they should have been ready for a snap election. Because I know personally, having been involved with the NDP, granted it was federal, they drag their feet when it comes to nominating candidates in their ridings. And so, when I was trying, it was months and months and months the first time before they vetted me and finally let me through. And had they vetted me earlier and said, okay, you can be a candidate, even though it still might be a contested riding, I could have been getting my name out there. I could have been on the social medias, letting people know that I was going to be the candidate and all this sort of stuff. But they dragged their feet because the reality was they didn't want a poor person running. They wanted to wait to see if they could get anyone else that they wanted that was part of their class as a candidate. And so even though I applied months and months earlier, the candidate that they wanted applied, and she got vetted within days. She got vetted before I did, even though I didn't even have a social media presence at the time. So it's not like it would have taken long. But she got vetted before I did because they wanted somebody within, they wanted an academic, you know, somebody who's part of that group already. They didn't want somebody like me, even though I could have done really damn well. It's just, I want to make sure. If there's a riding anyone is curious about, let me know, because if you're in it or something, and I'll click on it. Catherine Fife was reelected. Oh, with over 50%. That's actually a really good turnout. But yeah, let me know if the riding, if you want to see a riding, and I'll click on it so that you can see. J. Kara Marat expelling Sarah Jama was vile. The NDP should be talking to an anti-genocide stance, but they become a joke. Yeah, no. There should have been a path back for Sarah Jama well before now, but the reality is, again, the party didn't want her back because Sarah Jama is an activist. You know, that's part of the reason why they didn't want me the second time I tried to become candidate, because I'm an activist and we tend to speak our minds. They don't want, like, they literally told me the second time when they rejected me that it's because I have a sense of humor and tendency to speak my mind. And so the reality was there was never going to be a path back for Sarah Jama because she was too outspoken. And they want people that will fall in party lines. BCAT, Cyan, I'm so sorry. This shouldn't be an issue anywhere as we have enough resources and technology to fix it. Like, the only reason why I don't have to skip meals is I do have generous friends to help me out, but also I only eat 2 meals a day. I don't eat 3 meals a day. And it's not because I'm going hungry. It's anxiety. A lot has to do with anxiety. I'm not hungry during the day, so I snack. But, like, I don't have 3 square meals a day. And I think if I was eating 3 square meals a day type thing, that would be a lot more challenging for me to get the groceries and stuff I need. Because every time I go out to the grocery store, it's $100. Because, of course, it's not just groceries you're getting. Then you might also need to pick up toilet paper or a cleaner, or I have cats, so cat litters and stuff. And then some people will be like, well, then you shouldn't have cats. And to them, I say, fuck you. Because, yeah, I should be able to have cats if I want cats in my life. You know, the idea that if you're broke, you don't deserve anything that brings you any sort of comfort, anything that's a luxury, anything that can help distract you from this life is just absolutely bullshit coming from people who are fed up and mad at the wrong people. Because they're mad because they're like, well, I have to work all of this time and I don't get to have, you know, this extra luxury. I had to get rid of my Disney Plus. So somebody who is living with dire poverty doesn't deserve it. And that's what it comes down to. People who are working, and this is what Doug Ford was really good at, pitting them against others. He tells people who are working that people who aren't working don't deserve to have a good quality of life. They don't deserve to have an apartment, to be able to buy groceries, to have any sort of luxury, to have cable and watch the fucking Flintstones. That is what he's told the other workers. These other workers, they're hardworking, they deserve it. But these other people, they don't deserve it because they're not contributing the same way. Jeff the Heathen, voters have also been bombarded by conservative commercials, blitzes, both provincially and federally. I've been seeing anti-Ford things, actually. Like, I heard a couple on the radio today when I was in my car. On my YouTube videos, like when watching YouTube, it would say vote for it out type thing ads that I was getting ahead of time. So, but chances are they have more money because they have a lot more large donors. So they have more money so they can buy more airtime. So yeah, they get more ads out there all the time, of course. Let's see. Canadian Socialist, I agree. I believe Jill Andrew was targeted with racism from both Liberals and PCs. Might have also been her own party. Let's not rule that out either. Just ask Laura May Lindo. Not targeted per se, but not helped. Let's put it that way. But yeah, racism actually absolutely has, like, I don't know if there's that type of breakdown. Oops. I don't know if there's that type of breakdown. Hello, Tamoor's back. Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know, because other people are thinking that racism might be playing a part in like Jill Andrews and other seats. Somebody would have to like do an analysis basically of how many white politicians there are this time versus last time. Like, it's always a majority white, but to see how many people of color lost their seats, I think would be a valid, very valid analysis to do this round, especially with all the racist talk coming in from the United States and whatnot.
So, miss anything?
No.
I did have the CBC playing in the background, so I caught a little bit of the commentary they had, but yeah, the I don't know. Numbers didn't look great.
Elemental, you should be able to enjoy life. Cost of living should not be a thing. There should be no cost to living. Very true. Also saying my home, London, Ontario, at least stayed orange.
That's good.
Jay Cara saying NDP is following the liberal respectability politics tacket, even though it's super unpopular. Were there any ridings in particular you wanted to see, Tamoor?
I mean, I'm looking at Mississauga.
Yeah, well, somebody just said Mississauga, Streetsville. So let's go down there. Let's see. Mississauga, Streetsville.
Let's start with Aaron Mills, because that's where I am. Oh,
yeah. Mississauga, Streetsville is looking like it's going to be the Conservative. How many?
Oh God, not Tongri again.
Jesus. Yeah. And you wanted to see which one?
Aaron Mills. By the way, I have switched rooms before anyone pointed out.
Mississauga Aaron Mills or just Aaron Mills?
Mississauga Aaron Mills.
Okay. There we go. PC. But it's close. That one actually is super close.
It is very close. I'm on smart voting and it's 1% either way, but so is the Liberals leading at the moment.
Like, they're literally just 8 votes apart right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I was curious about Kitchener Centre. Oh, Green got elected into Kitchener Centre, so that was the incumbent. She kept her seat.
Excellent.
So I had Brooklyn Wallace, the NDP. She came in 4th. Ouch. She was on my channel to talk about it, so I guess she didn't exactly get that left of the box boost.
Oh, no.
I'm just checking to see if anybody else wants a specific riding. If you want to see a specific riding, make sure to tag Left of the Box so that it highlights it so I can see it. Let's see. Canadian Socialists, I just want everyone to have a minimum decent standard of life. Yeah. Canadian Socialists, again, in my writing, smart voting suggests Liberals, but thankfully Kristen Wong Tam has won. That's good. Oh, we got a Mississauga Coxville request.
Cooksville.
This one? Oh, Did I say Coxville? Cooksville.
Yes.
Mississauga. PC. It's just, again, it's just so, yeah, warning to people who watch my streams. I'm going to be checked out for a while after this. It's just so disappointing. Because, let's see, 79, how many seats is he going up by? More than 10 seat gain at this point. No, last election was 76. Okay. Seats before. Okay, so last election was 76. Seats before that. So he's been gaining every time. God damn it, he knows how to play that political game. Looney Tunes 9000 says, I told you Canada's fucked. You didn't have to tell me. Oh, did Bonnie Crombie finally lose her seat? Officially lose her seat, I should say. Let's see.
There's no way anything could be. I don't think anything actually has been fully counted that quickly.
I don't know. It's 23 out of 64 polls have been counted. But she's down by over 1,000 votes right now. Of any seat to get a Conservative win, I don't mind this one. Just to get her out of there. Breaking news. Progressive Conservative projected to form third successive Ontario government. I can't talk. Who's the other? There's one independent, it looks like.
Yeah, they were just doing a big thing about her on CBC. It sounds like she's some ex-conservative person.
Not conservative enough, or was she the conservative that stepped away because of Doug Ford's stance with autism?
Probably not that one. No, she was already an incumbent independent, so it was, and she's only stood twice now and won both times. But it. Oh no, maybe she's not an ex-conservative. Sorry.
Oh. So the NDP had 40 seats at the last one, and wow, they're down by almost half. Marit Stiles better step down after this.
Yeah.
Both Bonnie Crombie and Marit Stiles need to step down. But Mike
Thing is
Schreiner,
that Liberal number is up from the previous time. They did 13. That's above the minimum for party status, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if she gets that, that would be a victory for them.
It'd be a victory for them, but she still loses her seat, so they're not going to keep her.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she won't have a seat in the House. So unless there's a sudden by-election in a safe Liberal riding, they won't keep her as the leader. Um,
I mean, it's incredible given she was the mayor here, and she was also the hand-chosen successor to Hazel McCallion.
well, I think part of it is if you, for the people who watched the debate, Doug Ford was very good on hammering her on the fact that she was mayor and bad at it. Like, I don't know if she was actually bad at it, but that's what he was communicating. Somebody's saying Norfolk, but...
Yeah.
Oh, Haldeman, Norfolk. Okay. Where is it? Oh, H. There we go. The Independent. Okay. Bobby Ann Brady.
Right.
Is the Independent who won. Wow. Did she ever win? Holy. 63%. That's like super high for a candidate to win. Not to mention like an independent to win by that much. But let's see. Oh, right. This isn't the final seat count here. So elected seats for the PC right now is 33. They're leading in 45. NDP is 7, leading in 18. Okay. That's like a big loss. But both of them, both Marit Stiles and Bonnie Crombie, failed this province. Like, they just absolutely failed this province. Yeah, because if we look at the total between elected and leading, so that is what the number up the top was. So down from 40 seats to 24. And it's, you know, a large part of it probably is too the Liberals doing that whole fear mongering right near the end. Oh, you need to vote for us or else. You know, not doing proper vote splitting or vote splitting stuff. Not saying, oh, well, in these ridings, the NDP is leading, so vote for them. Instead saying, like, trying to pressure everyone, oh, no, stop splitting the vote by voting for this Liberal candidate, even though they're well below where the NDPer is. Canadian Socialists, I'm sorry, but I don't want the Liberals to win official party status. I just want these snakes to go away. Well, they didn't have official party status before. So, like, she did, I think, get them... what was the number? It's either, like... It's around 7 to 9, I think, is the amount of seats you need in Queen's Park in order to have official party status. Oh, let's go here. How many seats did they have? So they had 7 seats. Okay, so they had 7 seats in the last election. I think you need 8 in order to have official party status.
I thought it was higher for some reason.
Federally, it's higher. I think you need like 12 or 15 or something like that, which the NDP is looking really bad for right now. Because my prediction federally was, unless there were massive changes, the Conservatives would win in a blowout and the NDP would be lucky to maintain party status. The Liberals decided to have a leadership race, and so they're having some major changes in their party, so it looks like they're maybe not going to lose as bad. But the NDP stayed status quo. They'll be lucky to maintain party status in the next federal election. So some people are saying that you need 12 seats federally in order to have party status. Canadian Socialist is also saying from Wiki, in 2019 fall economic statement, Doug Ford's government changed the rules to 10% of the total number of seats in the assembly, so it is currently set at 12. So she has to win 12. Darn it, she's at 13 right now. But Doug Ford did a good job of flipping some of those NDP ridings, which again, Marit Stiles should not be kept on as leader. If she lost so many seats to the Conservatives, because it's not just between the Liberals that she's losing seats to. She's also losing seats to the Conservatives.
Yeah.
And there's no way a Conservative should be winning over a NDP stronghold. None. Yeah, I don't want to see live coverage. I don't want to see Doug Ford smiling. He's smiling on the graves of people. Like that's all. That's the reality of it. He's smiling on the graves of people that he put in the ground.
Yeah.
There are so many people who are not alive today that would be alive had any other government been in power. And he's celebrating that. Like that's to me the gross thing, is that he's celebrating the fact that he's putting people in the ground. But it looks like only, what? Oh no. So 6,200 of the 8,000 polls have been reporting. So there's not going to be any big changes from this. Mm. You know, and part of me feels like, you know, I wish I could have done more. I wish, you know, I wish my channel could make more of a difference. That, because I feel like I'm also letting down my own community. Apparently, it's the first time since 1959 that a party leader has won 3 consecutive majorities.
Interesting.
I just wish I could make a bigger difference on my tiny channel. But that was, you know, that was the big point of doing my channel in the first place, was to make a difference in this sort of thing. But all my videos and everything, I don't think it made a single difference anywhere. Canadian Socialists, keep live streaming. Just found out about you today. Well, thank you for finding out about me. I suspected that some people would find out about me because they were checking out live streams of the election, so I appreciate it. Feel free to check out the Doug Ford video I put up. It's really good. Like, that's the other thing that kind of bugs me, was the Doug Ford videos that I made. They're good. They're like really good.
I can vouch for that.
You know, they have that nice witty sense of humor. They cut deep. They spell it out. If more people saw my Doug Ford videos, I could have flipped the entire province. Made the entire province orange, red, and green. If everyone had seen my video. Oh. Put so much work into those videos and just got a couple hundred views. Do you know what would just like make me so mad? Is if tomorrow I see it has 1,000 views. A little too late. Yeah, it checks it out like tomorrow suddenly, like it skyrockets. And part of me also wouldn't be surprised, because it's all the people who are waking up to realize the election was today. Because as I was saying, like, this is a very complicated election as to why he's won so well, because a lot of people don't know what's happening right now. A lot of people don't know today is election day. A lot of people are out of the country because they already have vacations planned and they couldn't make arrangements to vote early or something before they left the country. I'm actually curious, though, about the Mexico story. That was headlining. Let's see, news. Have to put in sick, I think. Oh, it looks like it's at an all-inclusive resort. Put that over here. Oh, you're not seeing that, but there we go. Dropping like flies. BC families among hundreds to fall ill at Mexican resort. British Columbians were among hundreds of Canadians who dream vacation in Mexico turn into a nightmare. That is not my... I don't like hot destinations, hot sunny destinations. I'm not a sun worshiper, so not for me. Okanaga resident Alyssa and her extended family, 15 in total, planned a trip to wherever. Okay, just get to the point. Everyone started dropping like flies. It was pretty alarming. My niece actually saw the doctor on site. She said the doctor told them they have never seen anything like this, instructed the group to not drink anything that did not come from a bottle or can, and avoid any foods that could come into contact with water during preparation. So that I guess they don't know what's responsible for it yet. Because that's more than just food poisoning.
Yeah.
It would have to be there, like the water source is contaminated. Because if it's food poisoning, not everyone's eating the same thing, and it's at a resort, there's plenty of different places to eat at an inclusive resort. So to having so many people getting sick, because they're saying hundreds, it's in the water. It's in the water or it's in the air. More than 700 people have now joined a Facebook group to post about their recent experience falling ill at the resort. Wow. No, it'd have to be something in the water or the air. That's not food poisoning. Oh. What's with the link, Looney Tunes? You can't just link something and not tell me what that link is. Oh, all my Doug Ford videos. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you.
Your videos. Yeah.
Cyan Doodles, you help keep me saner, though. Sandy helped to let me know I'm not alone in this ish. Yeah. And there's a community of us. I try. It sounds like my channel's going to be very much in need over the next 4 years. The Wild West. The sewage smell? I didn't see that on the article if it said sewage smell. Let's do a quick little Control F cheat. S-E-W. Oh, no, I'm spelling sewage wrong. S-E-W. It was off-putting initially when we got there. There was definitely a really strong smell of sewage in the air. And then even in our hotel rooms, we had to right away that we reported when we checked in. Oh, here it is here. If you are smelling sewage, don't drink the water. Just pro tip there. If you can smell sewage, do not drink the water. Do not come in contact with the water.
Yeah.
Robinson
That's,
said they tried to make the
feels like
best
it's
of it,
pretty
but
obvious.
yeah. Robinson said they tried to make the best of it, but looking back, those were red flags that something was wrong, you think? If you can smell sewage, do not drink the water. You that is not a red flag. That is a shit flag right there. Like, to me, that seems common sense. But then again, they also had to put like instructions on gum wrappers because too many people were eating the wrapper. So. Oh, I don't think we need to. Last call in the sandbox if anybody's interested in a specific riding, and then we'll just go to the 2-person screen and detox, I guess, for a bit. But yeah, the conservatives won. Rachel Atwood asking if these are final results. They're not final, but over like 6,800 of the 8,000 polls have reported. So you're not going to see much change from here, like a seat here and there. You're not going to see much of a change. So chances are the 2 Green Party seats, they'll be maintained. Bonnie Crumby lost her seat. Haha. But you'll see a fluctuation because down here we have like leading and stuff. It's funny too. First past the post, like the liberals really should have been campaigning on voter reform. Because I'm just looking down here, votes.
Yeah.
The NDP has 850,000. The liberals have 1.34 million type thing. But the NDP has more than 10 seats than them. Okay, let's quickly do the math here. How many possible voters are in Ontario? How about Tamoor, you look up how many possible voters are in Ontario, and I'll quickly do the math of votes. Six 0499 plus 1378794 plus 228691 plus 175,964 equals. Are you even in position to look up that number?
I'm trying to find overall numbers. The first thing I found in looking up voter populations, there are articles on the numbers that have been reported on for advanced voter turnout, which I was one.
Let's see.
And those numbers were down from 2022. They were like 1 million, I think, in total over the course of the however many days it was.
It should say,
and
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. It should say how many possible voters.
Yeah, it looks like this time around only about 700,000 people voted in advance voting.
Mm-hmm.
So your 40% prediction, I feel like, has some serious credence now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like how many, it doesn't say out of like possible seats. It's just turnout was 44% last time. But it's not saying how many. I'm going quickly. If anybody in the sandbox knows, let me know. I'm going to try Googling it too. Voters in. This is an article from last time talking about low voter turnout. Okay, so this will probably be a good indication. So last time at 44%, of the just over 10 million registered voters in the province. So that wouldn't be too far off.
So about 4.3 million.
Yeah, so even if we say that there's 11 million possible voters, which is really high, actually, because there's only like 14 million people in this province. So no, let's say 10. And what was the number that I had?
43% last time. So what was around 10 million? It'd be closer to 4.3. Let's say 4.4 for, you know.
Or yeah, so it's looking to be close to the same turnout as last time then. Rachel Atwood, is the NDP better at strategizing? Oh no, they're horrible at it. There's no reason why the NDP should be this far down right now. If they were better at strategizing, they wouldn't be this far down. John Davis, the Socialist Party must rise. Absolutely. Nadia V, the winter timing for this election definitely factors into the early voter turnout. Yeah. And Rachel asking how the weather was today. Like in my area, the weather was fine, but if you need to use a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, not everything is cleared, so that is definitely a barrier. And I was showing this article at the beginning. Don't need to see those.
Yeah, it was sort of okay here too, but yeah, we're in Southern Ontario, so we have it different than up north.
Yeah. So I was sharing this article earlier that Ontario voters with disabilities face barriers in the winter. But Doug Ford hates people with disabilities, so, you know, he doesn't care that we can't get out to the vote. A lot of people with disabilities can't get out to the polls. And Nadia V also pointing out that a lot of people are on vacation. Yeah. So like I said, that I was talking about, this is a lot more complicated than just voter apathy. There's a lot of factors playing into it, but the primary factor is Doug Ford knows how to play the political game. Like, I've never called him stupid. He knows how to play the political game. These two, Bonnie Crombie and Marat Stiles, do not know how to play that political game. And because they don't know how to play that political game, people's lives are now not going to make it till the next election. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, people are going to die that would still be alive had any other party been in power. And how that's not outrageous to people, how people aren't on the streets because of that, just kind of blows my mind. But the media really needs to start saying, okay, this ER is closed because of the cuts of Doug Ford. You know, the rent, the average rent in this area is now, for a one bedroom, is now $1,700 because of the rent control Doug Ford got rid of. Like, the media really needs to be doing that, and they're not. Canadian Socialists, there were very few advanced polling dates. Yes. Because it was a snap election, there were only 3 advanced polling days, which is a lot lower than what would be in a normal election. Rachel Atwood, I hate to tell you, Sarah Jama lost her seat. The independent is somebody who was independent before and has been
Bobby
independent
Ann
the past couple. Jeff DeHeven, Mike Schreiner just gave a great speech. So glad I live here in Guelph when I can vote for somebody who actually respect. Actually, I wouldn't mind listening to that. Is it? Let's see. Let's see if CTV broadcasted it. Oh, there we go. Let's listen to Mike Schreiner.
really well. This actually, I think we have to give a tip of the hat to the NDP campaign. They were just much more targeted. They were on point, and they were able to kind of, why don't we just say, they had lemons and they made lemonade.
They made lemonade.
They made lemonade.
This graph, I love this one for Greater Toronto, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And this race, we're,
and it's on 30
advantage throughout.
Really appreciate
minor territory. That's also where we find CTV's Tony Grace. The Greens have their eyes on Parry Sound, Muskoka. We're now learning that's off the table for them.
That's right, guys. You could probably hear the cheering, Mike, 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 because Green Party leader Mike Schreiner has just arrived here in the room in Guelph. So, as we've declared, Mike Schreiner easily winning his seat here in Guelph. Same with Ashlyn Clancy, his deputy leader in Kitchener Centre. But as you mentioned, what was a very close race in Parry Sound, Muskoka now appears to have gone to the PCs. So that was where the Greens were hoping to pick up their third seat. But, you wouldn't sense any disappointment based on the sounds and the sights here in the room in Guelph, because as soon as Mike Schreiner walked in, this is what you heard. And this is what you heard as the campaign workers were sort of rallying the troops ahead of time before Mike Schreiner's arrival. Look, they're very, very proud of holding on to those 2 seats. It was a big deal for the Greens to get that second seat in the Kitchener Centre by-election at the end of 2023. Mike Schreiner is on stage now.
In 2023, the Ontario Greens made history by electing the second Green MPP in Ontario's history. And I just want to say to Ashlyn Clancy, from the day you decided to run until the moment you joined me at Queen's Park to be the second Green MPP, I've been inspired by your courage, your intelligence, your tenacity, your passion, and your commitment to the people of your riding and to this province. Together, we held Doug Ford's feet to the fire and delivered for our communities. And so I look forward to teaming up with you again to go back to Queen's Park and represent Green voices across this province and to stand up for what's right for our communities and the people of Ontario. You know what? Anyone who thought Ashlyn Clancy's by-election win in 2023 was a fluke was wrong, and we proved them wrong tonight. And we will keep proving them wrong as we build momentum for the Ontario Green Party across this province. Our party is powered by people. And so I say to the people who ran, the people who knocked on doors, the people who put up signs, the people who braved the cold. And I got to tell you what, there were a lot of cold hands and warm hearts out on the campaign trail over the last month. I want to say to each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you for working so hard for the Ontario Greens. Each and every one of you is a local champion, and I'm forever grateful for the work that you do. I also want to take a moment now to thank a good friend, Matt Richter, the deputy leader for the Ontario Greens. Matt has run many times, and this time yet again, he came so close. I know that tonight was not the results we had wanted, and I know they're not the results that Matt wanted. But I want Matt to know that you will always be a champion in my heart. You lead with honesty, integrity, and a commitment to your community. And if there was ever anyone who deserved to be an MPP, it's Matt Richter. Matt. Yeah, let's hear it for Matt.
All right, a proud and grateful Green Party leader.
I want him to be the premier.
Yeah.
I'd actually be curious
Totally.
if Marit Stiles has a speech or if Bonnie Crombie has a speech. Like I said, I don't want to see anything about Doug Ford. I don't want to see him celebrating the graves of the people he is putting into the ground. Well, have a good night,
So it
Canadian
looks like-
Socialist.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Good night, Canadian Socialist, who has to get up for a 5 a.m. shift tomorrow. Ugh.
Ooh.
But thanking us for the stream. Let's see. Solar says the Liberals have really bad voter efficiency. Oops, I just lost my screen. Hate when that happens. I'm still live streaming as far as I know. But my live streaming tab just disappeared. Okay, I can see my live stream tab again.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the races. Oh, good. Yeah, so far, 5 out of the 6 Mississauga ridings have declared for Conservatives, but mine, there's a glimmer of hope. Liberals leading by, wait for it, 8 votes.
That's going to be a recount.
It's not. There's still like I think 5 polls remaining or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there will definitely be a recount there.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Sharing this tab. Everyone needs a little bit of linear right now. There we go. Yeah, everyone needs a little bit of linear right now. But, Irene S. Damn, not the result I wanted. Elon doesn't control our voting machines, does he? He controls the algorithms of certain social media platforms, which wouldn't surprise me if they play a part, considering Doug Ford is giving him $100 million.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's $100 million for reasonable stuff. It's for 15,000 Starlink connections, which $100 million, it breaks down to $6,667. The retail price of them is $500. So Doug Ford is paying more than 10 times the amount to a billionaire of Ontario taxpayer money. You cannot tell me there isn't something going on there, where Elon Musk now doesn't see Doug as in his good graces. Like, that is just Doug buying off Elon Musk with Ontario taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Irene S. No healthcare, but we have booze everywhere. Well, save on the alcohol, because if you get a cut or something, you can dump it on the cut. The Wild West, $6,667. So it is 6667. Which, yes, that's part of the reason why I can remember it, is because it's the number of the beast. I'm getting cat fur all over me right now. Yeah, I don't think we need to see this anymore. I can pop back to this screen, I think, if I need to, for people who are curious, but the results are pretty much in at this point. So we'll go back to the 2-person screen. Okay, we're into the two-person screen now. Now people can get a better look at my kitty cat. Oh, Jeff the Heath and Bonnie Crumby just gave a speech and declared she's not going anywhere. Oh, I just switched screens. Now I gotta switch back. I want to see her speech. Okay, just a minute, everyone. This is a process. Hmm? And then I go over here.
Do we really need to say that?
I kind of want to see her speech, and then you'll understand why I say she's Kai Wynn.
Okay. All right.
Then I can do that. Okay. I'm very curious about her speech.
% of the popular vote.
Living at party headquarters, she's got to do her might be a too hard to bounce back.
Frame it, but they've got to figure out what the way forward is going to be for them now.
And thank you for being here. I want to thank each and every one of you for everything you have done in the last 28 days. Oh my gosh, those snowbanks, the salt, how many pairs of shoes have you ruined? You've really stepped up. And many of you put your name on the ballot that are in the room here tonight. So, listen, running for office is no small thing. So no matter who you ran for, or our province and our democracy are better because of the hard work, right? Yeah. So thank you. I know tonight isn't exactly the result we were looking for, but you should be very, very proud of what we did tonight. People counted us out. They said the Ontario Liberal Party was dead. Huh. Tonight, you prove them wrong. The Ontario Liberal Party is back to official party status, and that's a big milestone. But it gets better. We increased our share of the votes substantially to 30%. Double digits over the NDP, right? So this is a building block for us. It is a momentum that we can continue to push forward and to grow, right? So tonight, let's celebrate all our new MPPs that we're going to bring back, and let's celebrate coming back to party status.
Let's get to the point that you say you're going to stay or not.
So that tomorrow, we can get back to work, making sure those other guys do their jobs. Yeah. Look,
I still just have the general
given
poll
Doug Ford another mandate tonight.
on my screen.
Smaller, but nonetheless. But many, many of you are asking for a strong voice to hold him accountable as Premier.
I do like
and
when
you
it
can
said
count
that she
on
was
me,
defeated.
okay?
Yeah, the only downside
I'll
is
say
she's
this
lost
tonight,
to a
Doug.
relative of Patrick Brown.
We'll be watching. Yep. We know Ontario can do so much better, right? And you know I'm not going to slow down, not for 1 second when it comes up to standing up for the people in this province, right? I'm going to continue to fight for our public healthcare system every single day, right? Doug, you promised a lot of things during this campaign, and one of them was to get people more family doctors. And I'm going to hold you to it. The Ontario Liberal Party is going to hold you to it, right? Because the people of Ontario deserve more than they've gotten from you over the last 7 years. You promised to protect Ontario.
Okay, I don't need to see any more of that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
think she didn't have a speech ready for losing her own seat. Because I don't see her maintaining being leader of the Liberal Party if she doesn't have a seat.
Yeah.
I think she had that speech kind of down and memorized in her brain, not expecting to lose her own seat. Because how is she going to fight? You know, she can still be the leader of the Ontario Liberal Party, but how is she going to fight if she doesn't have a seat in Queen's Park? I honestly think she wasn't thinking that far ahead that she could lose her own seat. Jakara says, love the Deep Space Nine reference. Okay, yeah, everyone, you must be seeing this now. This is Kai Wynn. She's Kai Wynn. In attitude, slightly in appearance. But just the vibe she gives off, too. Cyan Doodle says that they want to draw my kitties. Mm-hmm. My kitties are cute. Yeah. That's those two, and then there's also Frodo. Frodo's the old guy. You're not seeing this right now, Tamoor, but they are. As I switch back screens again. Let's put that one back up. Okay. So now I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. I like really have to talk out loud as I'm doing these transitions so I don't screw it up. And even when I talk out loud, I still screw up these transitions. Just checking the sandbox. I don't get what the joke is with the sunglasses, but some people are finding it very funny, so yes, we do need to find reasons to laugh in this bleak time, Kara. I'm saying your name wrong. Yes, Grand Theft Autobot, Doug won. Irene S. I think a lot of people hated Kathleen Wynne by the time she left, and now they're afraid to vote for another woman. Wouldn't surprise me again. Like, I think racism, it'd be interesting. I think it would be a very valid thing for somebody to look into how many people of color lost their seats. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's even a greater gender disparity. Because with all the talk of like DEI and the racism and stuff in the States, it trickles up here. Like even right now, the Toronto Pride Parade had a bunch of sponsors pull out, American sponsors pull out because of the DEI stuff. So not even Canadian companies, but American companies sending their money somewhere else were afraid to do that because of the whole DEI thing. And Tamoor, you are frozen. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen and I can't hear anything if you're saying anything. So you might need to leave and come back, or I could kick you out and you can come back. Until then, I will... Oh, he's out. You guys can see how I'm cheating with these screens. Let me do this. There we go. While we're waiting for Tamoor to come back, here we go. Give you guys an eyeful of my kitty cat. This is Lanier. And if you like the Deep Space Nine reference, you should be getting this reference. Well, it's not Deep Space Nine. Babylon 5 reference with his name. Little Lanier. Let's see. Tamoor is trying to come back in, but it says device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. Well, hopefully he can come back in. I feel so weird if we don't get to say a proper goodbye. Getting all this cap fur like stuck in my makeup now. Just checking the sandbox. But yeah, I might do that on that analysis of looking into who won this time over last time to see if there's a pattern of sorts. But again, right now, I'm almost tempted to take down my Doug Ford videos because it would piss me off so much if, like, tomorrow my Doug Ford videos started getting like thousands of views. I'd be like, a little late, a little late. But I kid you not, there's going to be people that wake up tomorrow not realizing the election was today. Jakara, yep, a lot of this had to do with misogyny. Also saying these cats are models. Yes. Frodo, you saw there, he's 17, believe it or not. And he still plays with the orange one every day. So the two young ones, they're 6 months apart and they're about 2 years old. I got them from 2 different rescues. And I got them because Frodo had a sibling who passed away a couple years ago. Only she never liked him. So I only had her for a few years. I got her from a rescue and she was unfortunately sick from the get-go. Adorable cat. Her name was Tulip. And Frodo desperately wanted a sibling. He tried so hard to be friends with her and she just wasn't having it. So I know Frodo was getting up there in years and I wanted to make sure he had the chance to have a sibling again. But when you adopt them young, they want you to adopt in pairs. And when I saw Abernathy first and I was kind of like in love with him, but they wanted me to, again, adopt in pairs. So through 2 different rescues, I found these 2. And so they're 6 months apart. They're about 2 years old now. And Frodo loves playing with Linear all the time. And him and Abernathy sleep pretty close together on the bed, but not quite. But it is a challenge at times because Frodo has health conditions. He's on a daily medication. So I have to keep him separated at night in my bedroom with me so that he has time to eat his food overnight because he grazes, whereas these 2 would just gobble it all up. And he needs to gain weight. So I don't mind though, because that black and white cat, I get to spoon with every night before I go to bed and every morning when I wake up. He likes to spoon that cat. It's adorable. It makes life so much easier having that cat in my life. He is my world. Frodo is. And I almost lost him a couple Christmases ago because of his health conditions. But also thank you so much to the community to help me out. They helped me out with his vet bills. And so now he's on a regular medication. So any help with his continued medical bills is always appreciated. And that can be done with the PayPal link in the description box below, or if you're Canadian, an e-transfer to SandeeLovas@gmail.com. And all of that money is specifically for vet bills. But yeah, they are my world. Jakara, if that helps. I'll try to remember that. My name sucks because I'm always mispronounced. LOL. I respond to anything at this point, Sandy. I'm just horrible with names, too. Cyan Doodles. I know you're an amazing artist, though. Thank you. But I love other people's art. Like, I love seeing art. The Wild West. Sunglasses was a They Live reference. Tamoor is frozen, yeah. I'm not familiar with They Live. Grand Theft Autobot, DEI, Doug's extreme incompetence. Yeah. So it's J. Kara. Oh, Tamoor from the 5 is saying that the internet just went down trying to reconnect. Okay. So J. Kara. J. Kara. I'll try to remember that. At least you're correcting me early on like a couple people in the sandbox I know who waited a year to correct me on how to say their names. Jakara says, I don't know Babylon 5, but I'll look into it. It's a really good series, 5 seasons long, and it all connects. And I have the box set. Got it a long, long time ago. And when I rewatched it just a couple years ago, it is so relevant now. Like it resonated hard in some areas. just what they were doing, like with the fascist takeover and things of that sort, like, wow, it hits hard. But Lanier is like, I wish I had a Lanier in my life. So instead I have a cat named Lanier. The Wild West, Jakara, the special effects on Babylon 5 are dated. But it is a masterpiece show. Yes. They were using, I think it was back in the 1990s, computer graphics. So bear with them. Unlike Farscape, because Farscape used a lot of puppetry for their aliens and stuff like that, looked great. Like there was still a lot of makeup and stuff like that, but when it comes to seeing the ships, it's all 90s computer graphics. So you need to like do suspend your disbelief. In Grand Theft Autobot, we're right about the effects, but they're not the greatest, but the characters in the world, the universe are just so good. Yes. Wonderful characters, wonderful world. And like I said, a lot of what they tackle in that series just resonates so hard to now. Donald Smith. Wait, there was an election today? Yes. You better not be an Ontarian. But I imagine there's many people in Ontario saying that right now. Jakara is saying you guys haven't sold me on Babylon 5. I'm pumped. I found so many parallels with Deep Space Nine and Israel Palestine. Yes. I also, somebody super nice got me the Deep Space Nine box set off of Amazon, my Amazon wish list, which is linked below for me, which just blew my mind that they got me the box set. But there is one episode in particular that just, wow, rewatching it. The one where the one Cardassian alters his appearance to be one that's responsible for tens of thousands of horrible deaths and stuff. And that episode, wow, like it's just that hits hard. That hits hard. Cyan Doodles, where can I watch it? And shows that are similar. I so need an escape. You have to find different types of websites that will show it. I don't think there's any streaming services right now, like Disney Plus or Amazon and stuff. I don't think they're showing anything like that. I think there's a network that shows like Star Trek, like a Paramount Plus that shows Star Trek, but you have to find alternative ways of watching them or buy the box sets or something of that sort. If you have like a DVD buy and sell place, you might be able to pick up a Babylon 5 there. Farscape is also another good series to get into if you need a sci-fi escape. But one of the things that I also liked about Babylon 5 was there were no throwaway episodes. So in Farscape, there were definitely throwaway episodes where it's like you need to watch 5 minutes of the episode for it to continue on into the arc of the series. The rest of it was just dumb filler. And you're always going to see that in a lot of series, especially in the later seasons, just really stupid filler shows that only have like 5 minutes of things that you need for the arc of the season. But Babylon 5 did not have that. They did not have any of those campy episodes where it's like, oh, they're all drunk right now or something. So that was really good. Just don't look up what happened to the actors. There's a high mortality rate from that series to now, unfortunately. And then there's a Babylon 5 TV movie as well. It also had a spin-off series that didn't pick up, which was unfortunate. Oh, I have it. I bought it at the same time as Babylon 5. It was on sale. Oh, darn it. What's it called? I'll have to look up what it's called. Babylon 5 spin-off series. Unless somebody else knows it. B-A-B-L-O-N. spin off. Let's see, our spin-off series. Yeah, Crusade, I believe it is. Yeah, so there's a spin-off series called Crusade that didn't make it a full season. And the thing is that the premise of it, really interesting. The characters, really interesting. For some reason, did not gel. Like, even I felt it, which was so disappointing because, like I said, the characters, just super fascinating. The premise of it, too, was Earth was attacked by an alien species that infected it so that all mammals would die, and it's like a super viral thing within 5 years. And so everyone who was off Earth at the time would be the only survivors from this attack from this alien species that they don't know much about, but they do know that they've done this to other planets. So a lot of the other alien species have put a quarantine on Earth because they can't risk this virus getting out. And so this is one of the big ships that they have right now, and it follows one of them as they try to find a cure for this illness, as well as find out why they were attacked in the first place. But they have 5 years before this virus would wipe out everyone. And the characters, again, like I said, super interesting, but it just did not gel. It just, there just was something about it that did not work. Let's see. I can see Tamoor is trying to connect again, but it says device is not connected. So I think he's still having trouble with his internet. Yeah, so Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, Farscape. And Farscape is amazing because the aliens that they have in it, so the makeup is great for the ones that just have makeup and whatnot and prosthetics. But they also have like these big aliens and little aliens. And it's the same puppetry as the Muppets. I forget the name off the top of my head. So they're actually puppets. And it just adds like a whole other level of life to the characters by having them like that. And super interesting premise behind that one as well, that series. But like I said, especially in the last season, there's a couple of episodes where they're just bad. You only need to watch 5 minutes of it to know what's going on. And they have like a little spin-off couple movies too that are not the greatest. They're not the greatest. Oh no, Tamoor keeps on trying to come back in and it's not working. I think I need to kick from studio. Kick guest. Oh, you're seeing that. Let's see if you can try again. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, John Martinez, for the $20 super chat. I super appreciate that. Finally got high-speed internet. Now I can see your pretty face much clearer. Why, thank you. Super appreciate that super chat. Also, you can read my book, Jakara. It's available on Amazon. I'm going to try to make it a paperback soon. So if you prefer paperback, oh, Tamoor was there for just a moment and then disappeared. If you prefer paperback, wait. But if you want to read it as an ebook, it's available now on Amazon. I'm just still debating how to spell the one character's name. There's a character in it named Brody. Not Brody, Brody. And there's a bunch of different spellings that people have come up with. But this book is loaded with political and social commentary that I think would resonate well with members of my audience. And it's about vampires. You know, they have their secret society and stuff, but they realize that humans will eventually find out about them. And so they have to decide, what do they do? Do they launch a preemptive attack in fear that the humans will try to wipe out all the vampires? Or do they try to coexist peacefully with the humans in their own two separate societies? And then one of their scientists finds the first ever blood substitute. And so then there's the higher probability of peacefully coexisting since humans are no longer their prey, their food. But it's loaded with political and social commentary. I think people in my audience would resonate hard with it. And of the people in my audience who have read the book, they agree with me. So if you like vampires and stuff like that, I recommend my book. Paperback again, hopefully soon-ish. Irene S., I'm sure there are many people ranting right now. Yeah. The Wild West says Farscape is on Tubi. Oh, it was also on, check out YouTube. YouTube was part of an anniversary thing, streaming all of Farscape, like just streaming the whole thing. So I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but they might still have the whole thing. As part of an anniversary, they were streaming all of Farscape, like just looping it. So check it out on YouTube. You might be able to get Farscape on YouTube. But if you're wanting one of those series, like Deep Space Nine, Farscape, or Babylon 5, well, with Deep Space Nine, it would depend. Have you seen Star Trek Next Generation? You don't need to, but of course it helps to watch, to know Next Generation, because you'll understand some of the characters better, some of the alien species, some of the dynamics, that sort of thing. Babylon 5 is isolated, so you don't need to watch anything else. Same with Farscape. Between the two of them, Babylon 5 is more relevant to today. I think Babylon 5 would have more commentary on what's happening in the world today, even though it was made back in the 90s. Farscape is just good. Like it has its own premise and stuff like that. But if you're looking for something that resonates with what's going on today, then you would want Babylon 5. I haven't seen Red Dwarf, Grand Theft Autobot. There's a couple sci-fi series, like, of course, there's always a few sci-fi series I want to watch. But I'm always reluctant to get into series unless I know the series is done. But one series that I have decided to just get into, I don't know if it's done yet or not, is, I have to kick him out again so he can hopefully come back in. Hopefully Tamoor can come back in. I just decided to start watching What We Do in the Shadows. It's a Canadian version of it. Vampires living together in today's age. And I'm about 4 episodes in, and it's okay. It's a nice little distraction. I don't know how much I like it yet. It's very Canadian. That much. The humor is very Canadian. But it's nice and light. But also I know the 3rd season of Invincible is out, and so I need to binge watch that. But I was waiting till I had a whole day that I could do that. And just given the news of today, I think I need to spend tomorrow doing that so that I can escape from this horrid, shitty reality we live in. The Sarah Games, yes. Crusade is the name of the Babylon 5 spin-off, which again, it just blows my mind that it wasn't good, because the premise of the series, the characters, all of that was like super interesting, but it just did not gel. It was so weird. The Wild West, Babylon 5 appears to be on Prime, but I have the DVDs. I always prefer the DVDs because you get all the behind the scenes stuff with the DVDs, box sets and stuff. The only problem with the DVDs, though, is you can buy a box set and an episode here and there won't be complete. Like there's something wrong with it, a glitch. So you have to find an alternative source to watch the full episode. So like halfway through an episode, suddenly there's a glitch in the DVD and you can't watch all of it, which is super annoying because the box set of Babylon 5 that I have, there's like 3 or 4 episodes like that. And even the Star Trek's Next Generation, somebody gifted me the box set a while back. And I watched through all of that. And there's like 2 episodes in it where you can't watch the full episode from the DVD because there's like a damage somehow on the DVD. So I'm hoping with this Deep Space Nine box set that they're all good. But like you can keep them in good condition. It's just, you know, sometimes there's issues with that. Chikara, you're the best. Love a good sci-fi recommendation to Grand Theft Autobot. Yeah. Red Dwarf. Have to look into that. The Wild West. I really like the Techno Mage on Crusade, but yeah. Yeah, because I got them a long time ago at Costco. It was like $10 a season and then also Crusade. And I got them and yeah, the premise was perfect. It could have been such a good series. And I think if they were to make that series today, like just even remove it from Babylon 5 and just put it in its own universe. I think, especially because a lot of people like the post-apocalyptic type things. I think the premise of that series would sell really well today. Oh, of course, Firefly. Yeah. Go with that one too. My God, why didn't I think of that one sooner? Firefly is a freaking amazing series. It didn't make a whole season though, which is such a shame because it's so good. And then there's a movie with it called Serenity. And part of the problem was the marketing and stuff. Well, since Tamoor isn't here, I'm going to take these out of my ear holes so they hurt. Yeah. I found out about the movie before I found out about the series because they were so bad at marketing. They were on Fox at the time. They aired the episodes out of order and they didn't do a good job of promoting it, but my God, was it good. Firefly is freaking amazing. But it's not even a full season. And then they have a movie with it. And there was like such a big thing about like petitions like crazy and everything to try to bring that series back. Like, I don't know if there's been a push like that before for any other series to come back. And unfortunately, it still didn't work. But you would recognize a lot of the actors in it because they went on to other series and stuff of that sort, and movies and stuff. So you probably recognize a lot of the actors from Firefly. Jet, the Jim Henderson company Muppet Workshop does Farscape. Yeah. Jim Henderson, that's it. Donald Smith, who won? I'm camping just outside of Toronto right now. Doug Ford, again, more seats than last time. I don't even want to look at it. I don't want to see his celebration. It's just both Bonnie Crumby and Marit Stiles, they need to step down. Bonnie Crumby, the leader of the Ontario Liberals, did not win her seat, but she gave a speech saying she's going to keep on fighting and stuff like that. But my theory is she didn't have a backup speech ready, that she had that kind of memorized, but she wasn't expecting to lose her own seat. I kid you not. I truly believe that. She said her speech like she won her seat, but she lost her seat. Donald Smith, are you kidding me? Unfortunately not. We're still waiting to see what the voter turnout is. I'm guessing it's low. I'm guessing it's really low. Right, I'll have to see if Tamoor from the 5 contacted me on Blue Sky. Oops. And of course I hit Twitter instead of Blue Sky because I'm so used to still going on Twitter all the time. Let's see. because he seemed to be having some problems with his internet, unfortunately. Well, I suppose if he's having issues with his internet, he's not exactly going to contact me on Blue Sky either, because that's an internet-related thing. Oh, well, hopefully he can come back. Like right now, I'm not even talking politics. We're just talking sci-fi. Well, if you can't tell, you know, I have the Klingon dictionary. There's a little Enterprise back there, and stuff. So, oh, the gnome, which you can't see right now. Here, let me move the flag out of the way. That's a gnome in carbonite right there that a friend made for me. He got the gnome from Dollarama and sliced it in half and put it on there and stuff. So yeah, obviously I love sci-fi. Now I'm getting more spellings for the name of Brody. The way that I have it currently spelt in the book is B-R-O-A-D-Y. But there was one spelling that I thought was really good, which is B-R-A-W-D-Y. I think would have the best understanding. But the letter hack found that it is actually short for Broderick. And that is usually B-R-O-D-D-Y. So I have to make my decision quick if I'm going to change the spelling or not. But a lot of people seem to think that the B-R-O-A-D-Y, which I currently have, is Brody. So I don't know if I need to change it. Cyan Doodle says that they're waiting for the paperback. Hopefully soon. Jakara, yeah, I'm going to be promoting it like hell when I have it ready in paperback, because I know there's a lot of people that want it in paperback. Oh, also, now that the Ontario election is over, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm still going to do live streams, but I'm taking like a little bit of a mental break. But I'll still be doing some live streams. There's a huge, massive TYT video I've been working on. And I don't know if you know anything about TYT. I used to be a contributor to Rebel HQ on TYT. And I've been making a video, been working on a massive video about them. And how they're one of the biggest detriments to leftist solidarity online right now. And just the turn that they've made. And it's a very clip-heavy video. And I've been working on it for a few months now, and I just want to get that done. And so once that video is done, and at this point it's probably going to be broken into a couple videos, I'm going to finish doing video performances, story performances of me reading my book. So you can go to my YouTube channel and see the first chapter. I've read that out like as a story performance. However, I'm going to be redoing it because I have made edits. So the current version that's up right now, there's some edits in it from a version that I had up previously that most people are familiar with. The edits, nothing has changed to the plot or anything of that sort. It's still the same, but there's a lot, like a bunch of little details that got changed. And that's because I plan on serializing the book. And so those little changes make it easier. And then just some things I thought about afterwards. It's almost like it's still a work in progress. So I'll be redoing the reading, but you can still watch the first chapter, and there's a little bit of a preamble, so you'll find out why I wrote the book in the first place. And so once I'm done my TYT video, I'm going to focus on that, and people who become Jack in the Box tier patrons will have access to me reading my entire book. I'll release all the chapters to Jack in the Box patrons. Oh, somebody said Farscape is still streaming. Ah. And then it jumped. Tamoor from the 5. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. My phone and laptop won't allow mic and cam, so I think I'm forced to go. Okay, sorry everyone. Thanks again, Sandy, for letting me be on the great show. Hopefully I will be back again. Absolutely. Everyone stay tuned. Yeah. Oh, definitely have some more from the 5 back on. Yeah, right now it's just unwinding from the horrid news. I'm feeling it. I'm going to be breaking down later. It's a bit of a delayed emotional reaction happening right now. I'm feeling it, but it's just, I was hoping, like, I don't know. I was hoping people would be better. I was hoping people would learn, but like, I both blame people and not blame people for voting because it's a very complicated election. But it's just the entire province for a long time now has just continuously let down people with disabilities, let down people living with poverty, in a way that is costing lives. And, you know, people with disabilities can only do so much. We can't go on strike to bring attention to our issues because we're already invisible in the society. What are we going to go on strike from? And it would have meant so much to see people out there who maybe had no interest in voting for Bonnie Crombie or Marit Stiles because they didn't like them, but decide to go out and vote to support the most vulnerable in the community. It would have meant a lot to see that happen. And it's very disappointing that it didn't. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this country when it comes to supporting each other and learning how to support vulnerable people. Because also, I theorize there's a lot of racism. A lot more. Canada is a freaking racist country. But especially with like that talk of DEI and stuff coming up from the States right now, I think that had an impact on the Ontario election as well. So yeah, it hurts. It hurts. So it's, yeah. Jakara, also wondering if I'll have Wordsworth and Waterloo copies available at the paperback. The paperback is going to be available on Amazon. I don't have a publisher for it. So I would have to like buy a whole bunch of copies and sell it to Wordsworth in order for a bookstore to pick it up. Or the bookstore could purchase a bunch of copies off of Amazon to have in their store. But there's not going to be like a retail location, unfortunately. But if you watch the first chapter of my video, you'll understand it had to be released on Amazon. But also, I don't think I could have gotten a publisher anyway. It's very hard to get publishers these days. There's another book I've written that I can't tell people about for my own safety, just given the content of the book. It would make me too much of a target if I decided to reveal which book it is. And I would love to find an actual publisher for that because I won't be able to advertise it the same way as I can this book. But what I've been looking into is that the publishing world, there's so many sharks in it right now of vanity publishers. And these vanity publishers are basically trying to compete against Amazon because anyone can publish a book on Amazon. And you can get it in paperback and stuff too. Super easy. Anyone can do it. And so a lot of people, myself included, don't want to just be part of that Amazon dump. Don't just want to dump a book on Amazon and have it lost in the noise. And so if you have a publisher, the publisher can help with the advertising, send it out to actual bookstores, make sure that it has far more visibility in that way, help with the promotion and all of that sort of stuff. And so getting a publisher is far better in a way of just getting your book out to more people. It doesn't rely on just you advertising it. Whereas if you publish it on Amazon, all the promotion and advertising is on you. And I'm not good at that. So a lot of vanity publishers have been popping up saying, oh yeah, we'll help, we'll do this, but it will cost you $10,000. Or it'll cost you $5,000 if they're being generous. And they'll do the cover and editing, and they'll do like give you this nice little package, and they'll do all this sort of stuff. But in the end, all it is a vanity publishing. It's not going out to the places. It's just, you want a book published, they'll give you a published book. But it's not hitting the bookstores. It's not getting promoted. It's just a print on demand type thing. Because like, I still struggle with, I've written 2 books now, one that hasn't been published at all, not on Amazon or anything, which I wrote first. Now I have this Necroplasm book that I wrote as part of this derby. And this is a full-length book. Like, it's a full-length, it's a novel. It's over 250 pages paperback, from what I'm gathering it will be. So it's a book. So I say that I've written a book, but I don't feel like I'm an author because I haven't been published. Because yes, Amazon is technically a publisher, just like YouTube is technically a publisher of content. But anyone can publish a video on YouTube. It doesn't make them some sort of, it doesn't necessarily make you a content creator. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make you a journalist or a pundit just because you post something on YouTube. Like, there's more to it. I would say now on YouTube, I'm a content creator that, you know, because I'm getting paid for it, for one thing. You know, I have enough of an audience that I get some money from YouTube. But like with Amazon, you don't get money up front or anything. You just get paid per book. And I sold 7 copies of my book, the previous version of the book. So I have a hard time saying I'm an author. But if you haven't noticed, I'm capable of being a live streamer and stuff because I'm good at talking. I do lots of talking. I feel like, you know, since Tamoor was on the show with me, that he should get a part of the proceeds of the live stream, yet he donated part of the proceeds of this live stream. So I'm like, I'm all conflicted. Jet Firefly is such a good show. Oh, it's so good. John Martinez, so happy to see you getting more super chats. Why, thank you. I actually made a few $100s one month from YouTube. But I do know that there was somebody in one of my shows who gave me over $100 in multiple super chats, which just blew my mind. Because I don't get paid from Google, AdSense, YouTube every month. It might start changing now, but it wasn't the case before because they only pay out a month if you made over $100. And so what would happen is I would get paid every other month because it would take the combined 2 months and then I'd get paid like $150. Because I wasn't making over $100 in the 1 month, it carries over. But the 1 month I made up a fair bit, but I might be back down to, but I think it was just because of that one super generous super chatter. So I might be back down to getting paid every other month from Google. Let's see. Grand Theft Autobot, from what I recall, Fox had no faith in it as they kept moving it around from time slot to time slot. Yeah, Fox really bungled it with Firefly, getting that out. Let's see. Oh, hey, Frodo. Frodo, come on, come here, Frodo. Oh, you almost got to see a Frodo. Grand Theft Auto bought another good pseudo sci-fi series, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Part, starring Bruce Campbell. Oh, I recognize Bruce Campbell. The Wild West, or check out Sandbox Sandy. He. I don't know what that means. Yes, Looney Tunes. I read his super chat. It takes me a while to get caught up, you know. Because I scrolled down and then I can see the super chat came up, but I want to try to get through stuff so I'm not skipping back and forth all the time. But yeah. Oh, about my pronouns? Yeah, look up here. She, her, Mr., Sir, folk, they, them. So she, her is fine, they, them is fine. I get more sticky about being called a woman. So that's why the folk is in there. So like being called a woman or words along those lines, I'm a little bit more sticky with. But when it comes to just pronouns, she, her, they, them are both fine. But yeah, I just don't like being called a woman. Which is tricky because there's a lot of things that there aren't a non-binary term for. Things as simple as like boyfriend, girlfriend. The word I want is friendby, you know, NB, friendby. Or just like mommy, daddy. You know? Husband, wife, I guess there's spouse, but it's not, you know, it doesn't sound the same. So, so it's tricky because like aunt, uncle, there's not too many non-binary terms there, but yeah, she, her, they, them, they're fine. If you want to call me he, him too, I don't care. Okay, this is weird, but somebody came across some old photos that I posted on Blue Sky. Some thirst trap photos that I put up hoping to kind of boost my esteem. They were okay. Not too many people saw them. And somebody was like, oh, so I see these are thirst trap. I checking for the Adam's apple type thing. And it's like, you think I could be a trans woman? Why, thank you. Like, just the thought that they thought that I might be assigned male at birth or something. It's like, well, that's kind of you, because I say that because there are times like I wish I could present male. Like I wish I could present masculine, that I could be accepted in masculine places. Or sometimes just like instead of doing makeup like this, present male and be seen as male. Like there's a character on Gen V, if you're into the boys. There's their spin-off series called Gen V. There's a character on it with a superpower. It's like, I didn't know there was a superpower like that I wanted so much before. And they switched their genders. So they're the same person, but they can either be male or female. But they're the same person, just different. And I'm like, what radioactive thing needs to bite me to get that superpower? So if somebody looks at me and it's like, you're a man, I'm like, thank you. But I usually don't get that. I usually get people like, I'll see in the chats of some of my peeps on Twitter or something, people who are women, and just a lot of gender critical people, or people just wanting to get under the skin, being like, oh, you're a man, actually, trying to insult them that way. But then with me, as soon as I say, well, I'm non-binary, then they're like, oh, no, you're definitely a woman. Like, they're just saying shit to try to say shit. Like, they don't mean it. They don't they don't believe any of it. You know, they don't believe those women were assigned male at birth or are trans or anything of that sort. They're just saying it for the sake of saying it. And you know, if somebody wants to call me a man, it's like, well, thank you. It's like, that's not the insult you think it is. And it's not an insult. Oops, it jumped. Ah. Of course, I mentioned TYT, so everyone in there also mentioned TYT. That video will be quite the thing when I get it done. What time are we? Oh my gosh, it's so late. And I need to eat, and I need to unwind from, like, being on here, too. It's a lot. So, let's see. Cyan Doodles, it's tough when one has so much to say but must keep hush because of some loud individuals. Grand Theft Autobot, but publisher would own your work, and getting in the door is extremely difficult. It would depend on the type of deal you made with them. They would have some rights to it, but it would depend on the contract as to how much rights they have versus how much rights you have. So yes, when I publish on Amazon, you know, if my book were to win the lottery, as I say, and pick up steam and be made into a TV series or a movie or something of that sort, then I would get all of that. There's nothing being taken off the top there. But it is basically winning the lottery for your book to get noticed on Amazon. Like I said, with my platform, my YouTube channel, my social medias, I sold 7 copies of the book. So, you know, but I do imagine once I get it in paperback, I'm going to sell more. And I do imagine with the TYT video, I'm going to sell more. Because part of the reason why I needed to get in paperback before the TYT video is done is I'm going to be making some commentary on Jank's book and how often he promotes it. And then I'm going to put a challenge in there. It's like, I don't know how many copies of his book he sold, but wouldn't it be kind of awesome if I sold more copies of my book? And I'm going to put it in there in a tongue-in-cheek type of way. And so I might get a bit of a boost of sales in my book that way. Jakara, yeah, this is a heavy election. Lives are on the line, and Doug is going to further punish and criminalize people for being poor. We need class consciousness, solidarity, and community care. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, it's just what he's already done, what he plans on doing. A stupid tunnel. My God. 100 billion on it. There needs to be like mass protests and strikes in this province. But I'll be breaking down later on. No doubt about it. I'm going to have a meltdown. Even though it's like, I knew, but it's that old phrase, like, you can see the fist coming towards your face. So you know it's going to happen. But it still hurts when that punch lands. Jakara, screw the predatory publishers. You are an author, Sandy. I don't know. I wish I felt like that, though. John Martinez, fact, I have over 400 videos, and I'm definitely not a content creator. I'd be begged to be one of many of my buddies. However, my voice sounds pleasing to them. It's weird. Yes, John Martinez has a YouTube channel. Everyone go check it out. Super Strike 9, it is what it is. Can't stop fighting for the working and middle class as well as the most vulnerable in society. Never give up the fight, my fellow Ontarians. Don't think it's in me to stop. That's why I have this channel in the first place. I tried to get involved in politics, and then that was not great. The Wild West. If we pay extra, can we get the paperback autographed? The trick with that is, how are you going to get it? Because I'm not against doing it, but then it means mailing it, like me having it and then mailing it to you. So it's the cost of sending it through the mail, I think. And then you would have to give me your address, which I don't know how comfortable everyone would be with that. So, like, there's no way that you can get an autographed copy of the book from Amazon. So I am planning on just buying a bunch for myself so that I can sell it to the people I know, and they could potentially get it autographed if I'm selling it directly to them. But unless you live in my area, that's probably, like I said, I'd have to have the copy first and mail it to you. So you'd have to trust me with your mailing address, and then cover the cost of however much it is to mail it. Jakara, yep, we take a moment to mourn, then we get organized and mobilized. We can't give up because that's what Doug Ford wants. Yeah. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be watching the 3rd season of Invincible. It's a short series, like, it's only 8 episodes long per season, and I really like the first 2, and I rewatched them bunches of times. So I will zone out and watch Invincible tomorrow. Let's see. John Martinez, I've donated in the past. You were right. Just waiting for the day I could send $100 super chat. I appreciate it, but don't send money unless you have that money to spare. I don't want people sending money unless it really is money they can afford to pass on my way. I'm too cognizant of, I understand a lot of the people in my community are in the same situation as me, living with disabilities and poverty. Only if you have the extra money. Only if you have the extra money. I don't want people spending money on me unless you have the extra cash. And I appreciate any kind of donation. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $100. I appreciate it all. Like, it means the world to me. And there's also the Amazon wish list for people who don't necessarily just want to send cash. You can send something in the Amazon wish list, and I have a range of things in there price-wise. Actually, I need to add all my Easter candy soon. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow as well. Add the Easter's my favorite candy holiday, so I'll put like a ton of Easter candy on there for people too. And, you know, that's also a good way of donating. Becoming a patron is a good way of donating. Like, or if you don't have any money, just sharing, liking the stream, commenting under all of my videos helps in the algorithms. Being active in the sandbox helps in the algorithms. But just like promoting my content to other people. If you're familiar with other leftist content creators, tell them to have me on their shows type thing, to promote me that way. And that doesn't cost anything. And it also helps a bunch. Good night to you too, Jeff DeHeven. Left of the box. Friend B sounds awesome. Yeah. Frienby. Friend B. Frienby. That's what I think. And then I also, for ladies, gentlemen, mixeurs. I like that one. I like that one. Because mix is a common thing to use instead of Mr. or Miss. Go by mix. So I think mixeur as like a more formal, I think works well. But I think friendby is really ideal for girlfriend, boyfriend, because the one that's being floated out there, I would punch anyone in the face who tries to use that with me. And that is joyfriend. No. No, that is stupid. Let's see. But yeah, I want to quickly get caught up in the sandbox, and then I'm toast. I'm toast. Let's see. I don't know when my next live stream will be. It all depends on how much time I need to recoup from this. Donald Smith, are you progressive or conservative? I'm to the left. Left of the box. Think outside the box, but to the left of it. I'm a nonpartisan progressive. So I don't follow any particular party. I pay attention to the policy. And, you know, progressive, socialist, somewhere in that area. So I'm pretty far left. And there are some things that I'm like super duper far left on that I understand and realize will never happen. Things like breaking down gender, you know, like getting rid of, abolishing gender type thing. Getting rid of all borders. Like, this is my fantasy Star Trek world. I understand will never happen. Read my book. You'll understand a bit more of what I feel about that. So I'm like super far left, but I'm non-binary queer, so it makes sense that I kind of want to get rid of the gender social construct. But yeah, I'm to the left, but nonpartisan, so I have issues with all of the political parties here in Canada. But yeah, that's where I am, and I try to use a lot of sarcasm with what I'm saying. A little bit sassy at times too. Donald Smith, who did you vote for? I endorsed ABC voting. Anyone but conservative. So for me, in my riding was an NDP stronghold. I voted NDP. It's not because I support the party. I endorse ABC for this particular election. Yeah, but I don't support any particular party. If this had been a liberal stronghold, I would have voted liberal. If this had been a green stronghold, I would have voted green. Super Strike 9. Last movie I saw in theater was Freddy vs. Jason. Wow. Thank you so much, Jakara, for the $6.99. Like this if you agree that Sandy is an author. Why, thank you. Let's see. Grand Theft Autobot spouse says you can fix that by selling the autographed ones on Etsy. Oh yeah, I suppose that's a way of doing it. That would mean that I need to get an Etsy account. I have so many accounts right now. I'm a one person show here. Like, I do all my own, you know, social promotion content things. I have so many profiles on so many things that I'm trying to keep track of. It doesn't rule it out though. That is a really good idea. So it's something that I will consider, and even for just like selling merch, because I don't think I'll be selling like official merch, but I might want to sell other stuff. Like even right now, if you want to buy my art, you have to contact me directly and I sell it that way. But I suppose I could sell my art on Etsy as well. It's a little bit more tricky because, well, I guess Etsy's all about custom work, because it would have to be print on demand, and then I have to go and get it printed on demand type thing. And all my artwork, you know, it's originally mine if it has an original signature, because at the time that I get the image done digitized, it's not signed. I only sign the artwork after it's been digitized. So all the prints made don't have a signature on it. So that way I have to sign them. So if you ever come across my artwork and it doesn't have an original signature, you know it's not from me. Let's see. Jed, take as long a break as you need, Sandy. Yeah. Your guest, the new evangelicals. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's my next live stream. Let's just say I don't know if there will be a live stream before then, but the new evangelicals, I'll be doing a live stream with them Tuesday morning. Ugh, not much of a morning person. I was hoping for Wednesday so that I didn't step on the toes of Letterhack, but they're more available on the Tuesday. So next Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm going to have the new evangelicals on my channel to talk about the rise of Christian nationalism, Christo-fascism. I think Christian nationalism and Christo-fascism is the same thing. So that should be super interesting. I watched Tim, one of the people on the show, break down the debate that Jank had with Charlie Kirk on stage, and that's how I found out about the new evangelicals. And really, really fascinating breakdown, like just from his perspective as a former evangelical Christian, part of that whole community and stuff of that sort. So super interested. Donald Smith, progressive and conservative are two words that do not mix. That's for sure. There's nothing in me that's conservative. Hello, human without borders. Looney Tunes 9000 says Matt will be so jealous. Matt has had on the new evangelicals on his show before, which reminds me I need to watch that before I have them on my show. I like to do a little bit of research. I've read a few of their things, but I've watched... See, this is the part of the stream where I start losing my ability to form sentences. Dyslexia is a pain in the butt when it takes a lot of brain function to keep my sentences straight. I want to watch the episode of Letterhack with the new evangelicals because I like to do some research on the people I bring onto my show if I'm not familiar with them. But I have watched some of their shows, and I just find their analysis super interesting. BCat Jed is right. This is a lot to live under, much less cover it as your job. What did Jed say? Yes, and have a good birthday, Super Strike 9. Wish it could have been a better birthday gift. Oh, just responding to that. Okay. Bozed, sentences are overrated. Yep. Well, the amount of times I've had to ask you guys to read my mind for words. Donald Smith, who do you think is the best person to stand against Donald Trump federally? Do you mean that in like a realistic sense as to who we have right now versus who I think would just do a good job even though they're not realistically going to be in the position to do it? Because Charlie Angus has been very vocal against Donald Trump, and I don't think he would have any issues being rude to Donald Trump and talking shit about him and stuff, which is kind of what you need. But if you're talking about of the leaders we currently have or potential leaders, like when it comes to the federal leadership race, who amongst them would be good? Jagmeet would not be good. I want Jagmeet to step down from the leadership of the NDP. Elizabeth May would probably get really under his skin, actually, the leader of the Greens. Because she has said some pretty sharp things towards him before. So she could probably get under his skin. But when it comes to, like, let's say, because of course there's the Bloc Québécois, but probably not the best to go up against Trump. So if you're looking, conservatives, definitely not. They get along with him way too well. So Pierre Poilievre, definitely out. So of the federal leadership contenders right now. You have Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland, and Karina Gould. Now, a lot of people are leaning towards Mark Carney. I think that's just a lot of sexism. They just see Mark Carney as being a strong man, strong white man that could go toe-to-toe with Trump. To that, I say Claudia Sheinbaum. She's going toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and she's pulling it off. The person I would like to see win the leadership race is Karina Gould. And I need to find the tape. I said this well before there was a leadership race for the Liberal Party. I covered her in something else. So I need to find the tape where I said she should be the next leader of the Liberal Party. Because I called it well before now. And a lot of people will look at her as like this small woman, maybe a little meek, and think that I think she could. I really do think she could. In the same way that Claudia Sheinbaum does. Chrystia Freeland, I don't see it. I don't see Mark Carney even doing any. They'd want to work with him too much. They'd want to do too many concessions towards him. There wouldn't be any real pushback. They would just absolutely do concession after concession and then wonder why they're never satisfying him. But I think the way that Karina Gould has talked, like even in her initial campaign launch, when she mentioned things like the Liberal Party hasn't done a good enough job listening to their base. Like she's actually admitting things like that, whereas Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney are basically like, we need to do more of the standard, the status quo. And they're both kind of like, we've moved too far left. Whereas Karina Gould is actually talking about more leftist policies. Like right now, I'm not a fan of the Liberals. Oh, have I ever lit, Justin Trudeau on fire many times on this channel. Not a fan of the Liberals. I would vote for the Liberals over the NDP in a heartbeat if Karina Gould is leader. Especially if Jagmeet Singh remains the leader of the NDP. If the NDP has a leadership race and we get somebody in like Matthew Green, Nikki Ashton, oh my gosh, Leah Gazan. If we got one of them in as leader, then of course I'd vote for the NDP instead. Charlie Angus, though, he's out because he's retiring after this. He's not running again. So it all depends about that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was calling Karina Gould back before anyone knew who she was, because I saw her in some videos as like the House Speaker and stuff. And I'm like, there's just something about her. She has it. She has it. So if she became the leader of the Liberal Party, I'd have zero issue voting Liberal in the next election. Like I would still have issues, like don't get me wrong, absolutely would still have issues with the Liberal Party. But of the NDP and the Liberals, I'd see her as the best option. Not a perfect option. Like, let's make that clear. Not a perfect option. The Liberal Party, not a great party, but definitely the best option of what we have. Let's see. So that's the problem. I want to get off stream right now, but then people ask me questions that just engage me. I don't exactly want to be here till midnight, although it looks like I might be, because like, yes, I normally stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, so it's not like this is terribly late, but it's a whole process for me to unwind before I go to bed. And so I can't like just hop off stream and go to bed. That just does not happen. I need to unwind from this, which can take a few hours. Let's see. The Wild West. Yes, Karina. Violet Quinlaw, you don't make concessions to people like Trump. They just ask for more next time. Absolutely. Donald Smith, Donald Trump called Justin Trudeau a loser after the Four Nations tournament. Well, he also keeps on referring to him as governor and stuff like that. You notice how he doesn't have any of those cute little pet names for Claudia Sheinbaum? Because she stood up to him from the get-go. And she stood up to him hard from the get-go. It's not because Donald Trump respects strength. He's afraid of strength. So he's much more timid about going up against someone like Claudia. But he views somebody like Justin Trudeau as being an absolute pushover. Because he is. Let's see. But yeah, you can't make concessions. Like, what I wanted to see with the threat of tariffs, like, I was like, okay, great, you're doing counter tariffs, but make them specific. Like, talk about Tesla, making the tariffs on Tesla, you know, going after Elon Musk. Like, do it in such a way, and then don't back down. Because then Trump is like, oh, in another 30 days, we're going to do it. Then say, fine, if you're going to threaten to do this in another 30 days, we're just going to do it now. Like, just don't give him any wiggle room. Don't let him think that you're going to back down or cower or concede anything. You have to be strong from the start. And Justin failed at that. Violent Quinlaw, anyone who, that thinks complying with Trump whims will lead to anything but more extreme demands doesn't know how his personality type works. Absolutely. The Wild West says that Karina's French was also pretty good. That's good. I know that would be a barrier for Matthew Green. Violet Quinlaw, I had hoped for a different outcome, but expected it wins the $200 checks. Yeah, I know. Don't know how that's not fine. I think you're saying like how that's not buying votes. Used to be against the rules. It's not if you do it in such a way to make it sound like it's a stimulus, which is how he was selling it. It's a stimulus to help with the economy, to help with people's living expenses. And just like the previous election before that, it was he got rid of the license plate registration fees. So then that's not buying the votes. That's just him doing that at the same time as the election. Donald Smith, is it smart poking at America, the world's superpower? If he wanted to, we could cease to exist as a viable country. If we don't, that's what he's going to do. Like that, Donald Trump is not joking when he's talking about making Canada the 51st state. It's not going to be boots on the ground type situation. It's going to be through economic force as, you know, in a business sense, a hostile takeover. What Canada needs to do is stop relying on the States so much and start networking more with the European nations and Asian nations and things of that sort, and getting more trade that way, and stop our reliance on the United States as being one of our biggest trading partners. They're not going to drop bombs on us. That would just, you know, set the whole world against them. And they're not going to be the biggest superpower for much longer. Rachel Atwood, great matching eyeshadow and sweater combo. I wish I could be so bold, but it wouldn't work on my complexion. Well, I'm good with red. Jakara, does he get tax returns on this if it was a campaign donation? Talking about the checks and stuff? I don't know. Wait, what are you? That does not sound like something you should be playing with. Oh, it is. Okay, it's your spring. Abernathy gets into things that are just like, Violent Quinlaw, yeah, Australia needs to do same thing. If Canada and Australia got together, it's where USA gets all its rare minerals and uranium. I don't know enough about it, but let's just say I'm intrigued with the idea of joining the European Union. But like I said, I don't know enough about it, but that intrigues me. Like I want to know more, because my impulse is to say that's probably a good idea right now. But I don't know enough about it to say for sure, but I'm definitely intrigued by the idea. Donald Smith, Germany is on Russia gas. Why don't we cut our oil supply to America and send it to Germany where we can get them off Russia gas? It's hard to transport it. But that is also one of the threats that Canada has against the United States with the tariffs and stuff, is to shut off some of their energy. But that's not something that this government would necessarily want to do, because it's the people who are going to suffer and that sort of thing. It's the people who have no power that are going to suffer, like literally have no power, I guess, in that sense, who would suffer from that type of thing. And it is complicated and whatnot, but yeah, we need to be making stronger networks with other nations. It shouldn't be so reliant on the United States, and we should also become more self-reliant. Like, we need to bring back more manufacturing to Canada. The fact that like we don't even have a place where we can make our own vaccines and stuff because we sold all of that off. Like, we need to be able to make our own vaccines in Canada. We need to do a lot of our own manufacturing in Canada. We have a lot of the raw resources needed. So let's start doing that here, get good jobs in this country as well, and then start strengthening trading with other nations than the United States. Because one thing the United States is proving beyond a shadow of a doubt is they are not reliable as an ally, a friend, or a training partner. Oh, it's not bad, Kitty. He's playing with something he should be playing with. It just, for a moment, it sounded like he was playing with something he shouldn't be playing with. The $200 checks. I don't know if there's any sort of campaign thing going on with that. Sorry, shouldn't be asking questions when trying to get out of here. Yeah, let's start talking about food. Yeah, that's always a good way. Donald Smith, you keep on asking questions. And I'm like, I'm trying to get out of here. Join me for my next news live stream and then ask all the questions you want, because yeah, sure, I have thoughts on that. Booing the national anthem and whatnot. Actually watch David Dole, The Rational National. He has a couple videos about it. That's a good way of summing it up. So watch The Rational National, David Dole. He's more into sports too, so I'm not really into sports, but I'd be fine with no national anthems at sport events. Like I said, I'm that far left. That left. Anyway, yeah. But join me for my next news live stream, and I'd be more than happy to answer a boatload of questions. But right now, I need to go. I need to go. So do all this lovely stuff. Oh, I can't do the book and that socials at the same time. There we go. So do all this lovely stuff. Follow me on the social medias. You can check out my artwork. Coming on Patreon is super helpful. I have a PayPal link in the description box below. And you can also send an e-transfer if you're Canadian to SandeeLovas@gmail.com. Money from those two sources goes specifically towards vet bills because of Frodo's ongoing medical conditions and stuff. Amazon wish list also linked below for people who just want to show appreciation that way. If you want the ebook of my book, buy my book. But thank you so much for everyone coming out. I know it's late. I wish it was a better night than this. Take a break, but we gotta stay strong. We gotta keep on the fight. Thank you to the mods for keeping the sandbox clean of turds. Thank you to everyone for the super chats, for like any other ways that you have financially helped me out before. Living with disabilities and poverty, I literally could not do that without your support, so I appreciate it so, so much. With that, if you're new to my channel, enjoy the outro. If you have cats, be prepared for them to freak out. Salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandy, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.